Hey guys, welcome on in everybody to the Tarkov Talk podcast. This is officially the 10th episode of the podcast. We have some fantastic guests joining us this evening. Right next to me with the beautiful hat on is Captain K. Captain K, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And he's muted. There we go. Scuffed. Captain K, why don't you tell chat a little bit of something about you?
Hey everyone, I'm Captain K. I'm the Internet Sailor. I've been playing Escape from Tarkov since about 2017, so one of the old guards. Back when Pestley had 5 viewers. So I've been playing this game for a long time and, putting up with it and loving it for the last 5 years. I played in Twitch Rivals back in 2020 with Anton and Bakizi. We took 4th place. That was pretty cool. And that's a little bit about me.
All right. I appreciate you coming on. Next to Captain K, many of you know him, you love him. We have Velian without the chroma screen. You can see the man, the myth, the legend. Val, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about yourself if they don't know you already?
Well, if you guys don't know who I am, my name's Velian. Stream a lot of Tarkov, been playing since 2017, and I actually won Evasion Trios. There you go. That's me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming on. Excited to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Down in the bottom row, we've got Bobber down. Bobber, thanks for coming on. Why don't you tell chat a little bit about yourself and your experience with Tarkov?
Yeah. My name is Bobber Down. I've been playing Escape from Tarkov. This is now my 5th wipe, about 5,000 hours in. So not as experienced as the upper row, but yeah, definitely enjoy playing a game every day. So here I am.
Thanks for coming on. And returning guests, we have Mr. Armbars. Mr. Armbars, how you doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself for those of you who don't already know who you are.
So, dudes, I'm Mr. Armbars. This is my 5th wipe in Escape from Tarkov. I used to be a Call of Duty Halo gamer and just fell in love with Tarkov and still in love. Nice to see y'all.
Still in love, he says. I love that. And if this is anybody who came over from one of the other channels, your first time here, welcome in. Again, my name is Dad Life. I've been playing Tarkov for, this is my 6th wipe. I've got about 6,000 hours in the game. I don't have any cool Tarkov accomplishments other than I've played it a bunch. So welcome on in, everybody. We have there's a lot of things to talk about tonight. There's a lot of things going on in the Tarkov community. We haven't had a podcast in a while, so since then we've had a new wipe as of recently, which is we're a couple months into the new wipe. But we haven't had a podcast since the new wipe, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and then we're gonna talk a little bit about the state of the game. What we like, what we don't like, what we'd like to see throughout the podcast tonight. But first and foremost, first thing I'd like to know is everything aside that's going on, okay? Because there's a lot of controversy going on with Tarkov. Overall, the wipe happened. There's new content there. How do you guys feel about it? Who wants to go first? Bobber, you're going?
Oh, no, I'm pointing at other people.
You're pointing at other people. He doesn't want to go. Right, Captain K for 200.
I'll take the helm. I'll take the helm. All right, so here's the thing. Overall, let's be honest. Beginning of wipe was tough. Most beginning of wipes are tough, laden with technical issues. Once you take a patch, you have a small limited testing environment, and you push it out to 50, 100,000, several 100,000 plus people, you're going to run into errors. The beginning of wipe was brutal. I actually did 0 to 42, no stop. Finished it in 14 and a half days. I was going crazy over the tech issues, but literally after I finished my 42 grind, they smoothed out damn near everything, minus, the invisibility bug that they're working on right now. Overall, Streets is amazing. Amazing, man. If you have not gone on Streets at night, the ambiance is incredible, man. It really is. It's the missing piece in the puzzle that brings Tarkov together. And overall, I was actually, once we got over the initial bumpiness of the patch deployment, loved it, man. Loved it. RSH is great. SR2 is my new favorite gun. What else is there to say?
All right, awesome. I'm gonna jump to Mr. Armbars. Mr. Armbars, I'm just gonna call people out like it's class. Mr. Armbars, what do you think? How do you feel about the new wipe? How do you?
This one's a rough one for me because this is my toughest wipe yet, and as wipes go on, you tend to kind of progress in your experience, your knowledge. You get a little better each wipe, and then this wipe, I don't know what it was, man. Just my RNG, and then it started kicking my butt mentally a little bit when it takes you like 5 times as long to get some of the early level tasks done. And I know not everybody's gonna have that same experience, but I'm like going to I know where stuff spawns, and I'm just like not finding Salewas, not finding certain things. And it kind of pushed me into a mentality this wipe of like I'm just trying to have fun. Like last wipe I kind of grinded. For some reason this wipe is just it's making me feel like I don't really want to grind that much. I just kind of want to enjoy it with friends and have a good time, doing kettle runs on woods and doing goofy stuff. But Streets is awesome. The invisible players thing needs to get handled. Obviously, I mean, we got a patch coming tonight. Maybe it's in there. And all the other issues aside, man, it's still Tarkov. There's always issues, and we keep coming back to it because we love this game.
I have a question for Armbars.
Yeah.
Do you feel like your Tarkov gameplay was affected by how much COD you played leading up to the new wipe?
No, I don't think so. It's weird because I didn't finish like the last month and a half of wipe. I was playing Call of Duty, and I still got further last wipe than I ever had, like the highest level I ever had. Blah blah. And I thought like a month and a half break would kind of make me, refreshed for Tarkov and want to come back and want to grind it. And I don't think it necessarily changed like my gameplay skill level at all. It's like it's still Tarkov, and you're constantly telling yourself like, hey, I need to slow down more, or hey, I need to pick it up a little bit in these spots. You're trying to constantly evaluate yourself. So I think I still do that. I don't think it really affected me.
Okay.
All right, Bobber.
Yeah, I mean, going into this wipe, like I always get hyped up for every wipe that I've taken a part in. I usually spend like Captain K the first 2 weeks or so grinding to max traders, and then I kind of, for me
that is Chad.
personally,
Chad is
I'm just
dad.
not driven enough to finish the like mundane tasks required for some of the other things that streamers are doing, i.e. like capturing outposts or Shooterborn in Heaven on specific maps. Some of the Lightkeeper stuff kind of seems a bit mundane to me as well. So I'm more get up to max traders to where I can just kind of do whatever I want to do, and then I just go and try to get content. I don't really worry too much about Cap. I've had Kappa before. Lightkeeper seems cool, but honestly, it just seems like you get over there and it's just like free loot. Like, well, I can loot farm anywhere. I don't need a loot farm at the lighthouse. So, I don't know. That's just my own 2 cents. Streets is really cool. I thought it was going to be bigger, if I'm honest. I really thought it was going to be a lot bigger. But it's definitely cool. Recently, though, it's been crashing my OBS for some reason. I don't know if that's an OBS issue. Like the map itself, like plays smooth. It's not that bad.
I had somebody else mention they were having that same problem where Streets, or whatever's in. I think actually I know what it is. It's a resource issue. How much RAM do you have?
It's a RAM issue.
It's a RAM issue.
I have 32 gigs.
Not enough to run stream and play Streets. Because if you get a memory leak, and especially depending on how you have if you did like those optimizations, it basically makes Tarkov the most important thing. And if you run out, Tarkov's going to use up all your resources, and if you run out of resources, it's going to start cutting them from everywhere else, including OBS.
Makes sense.
There's a way to combat that. You can set your process priority as OBS as just as high as Tarkov, and it should stop that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that.
All right. You all set? I didn't mean to cut you off. Just wanted to.
Oh no, that's
All right.
That's my
Vel?
my early wipe thoughts.
Valian, how do you think this wipe is overall? The bugs and stuff we're gonna get to, but the content and the wipe so far, how do you feel about it?
I think the wipe is great. Honestly, I mean, obviously bugs aside and all that kind of stuff. You know, I don't know if you guys remember, but the beginning of last wipe was filled with just insanely crazy bad desync. And I think desync is really the only thing that like absolutely makes my brain just want to jump out of a window. So this wipe hasn't been as desyncy as the other ones. So I've been enjoying the crap out of it. And this wipe I decided to kind of just, instead of playing by myself and playing solo and getting to 42 as fast as I could, I played with my friends. Instead, I just played with everybody and, you know, pretty much enjoyed it. And I've been taking my time. I mean, it took me like 48 raids in a row to get to Gilla. So I definitely feel you, Mr. Armbars, on finding the items that you need. It was the bosses for me. It took me 48 raids for Tagilla. It probably took me 5 days to find Sturman once. So I definitely feel it on that. I mean, it's just an RNG thing after, you know, that. But I mean, I've been really enjoying it. I love it. And I definitely got Lightkeeper. And exactly what Bobber Down said is it's pretty much free loot when you go over there. If there's nobody over there, you go over there and make $1 million. And that's about it. And talk to Lightkeeper and then run back.
Now, did you find out, Valian, the hard way that you're not supposed to kill things over there?
Unfortunately, I did. I definitely had a guy jump into my face, and it startled me. And I shot him in the face, and I had to do a task to get it back. So, yeah.
Yeah.
What was the task?
It was just 4 Fountain Raid SVDs.
Oh, that's not bad.
But chat gave them all to me.
So, Valian, how many evasion armband runs?
I don't want to talk about it.
A lot, right?
So I have ADHD, and I count, which I don't know why I do it because it's like torturing me. But I have looted. This is just stashes. I probably looted about 1,000 stashes, and that's not including the jackets, the crates, you know, duffel bags, and all of that combined. Like I was doing like Fridays with my chat where we'd go in and just literally clear the map, and nobody would find it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was similar to like Vertexes and HTC 10s for me. I spent 4 days on Lighthouse looking for like 2 or 3 Vertexes, and I was just... The game stopped being fun. When you're only looking for an item, it just gets tedious. But when you just go and start like fucking off and doing whatever you normally do, you just have fun with it, man. Don't focus too much on the grind and just try to enjoy it, is what I've learned.
How do you guys feel about the forward-facing GPS thing to get Intel Center 3?
3 runs. I found it on my 3rd labs run on top of a safe in the offices, the 2 offices across from each other. And I've had people that have been looking forever have not found it, man.
I won't get that lucky.
Yeah.
I won't get that lucky.
I feel like if they're going to add something like that, it shouldn't be just on labs.
Right.
Which is silly. Like, why do you just anybody need to go to labs to find that one item? They should be a tech spawn where it spawns everywhere.
Yeah, I think we're definitely going to talk about that kind of stuff later because I think that's a classic at this point in the game for a lot of these, especially the quests. You know, is really tough. I mean, you know, it's very frustrating, and we'll get into it a little bit later. Personally, I again, this is my sixth wipe. I think content wise, this is because of Streets. Best wipe for content with the content that they put in the game. Best wipe as far as that's concerned. Streets is an amazing map. Once I buy a supercomputer, I was gonna say once they optimize it, it's gonna be great. But let's just be honest. Once I get a supercomputer, I can't wait to play Streets all the time. No, but I mean, Streets is a really awesome map. If you guys haven't spent a lot of time there, I've spent a good amount of time there this wipe, probably more than any other map, to be honest. And there's just so many intricacies in the map. it's just super well done. The map design is impeccable. I can't compare any other map to that, other than the small ones that are already like Labs is really cool, like, you know. But outside of Labs being designed the way that it was, I would say that Streets was designed extremely well. You know, and I do like the new, you know, the new guns that they added. One of the things that I do like that they did is they did slow down with the ammo and moving stuff on traders. And I know they did some of that stuff a couple weeks into Wipe, but I feel like that was really good. Those are really good changes overall. So I'm really happy with all of that stuff as far as the Wipe's concerned. It's been my worst Wipe ever, performance-wise, for myself as a player. I have the lowest survival rate that I've ever had in any other Wipe. I've been playing a lot of solo, and I do feel that with the way that they've made changes to the game, I feel like there's been a little bit of shift away from a lot of solo play. I don't know if you guys, you guys agree or don't.
100% agree with that. 100%.
I feel like I don't 1v1 many people hardly ever. And I know there's people out there that are running solos too, but I feel like, I think it was in your chat today, Bobber. It's like there's always one more. It's like I kill 2, there's 3. I kill 3, there's a 4th. You know, I feel like this Wipe, and that's great. People are playing the game together. It's great. I love that. But when you play a lot of solo, it can be pretty punishing. You know, but I mean, that's not anything to do with the content of the game. It just happens to be the way that the game shifted this Wipe. You know, and every game has a little bit of a meta, whether it's guns or the way that people play, or, you know, people's play styles, which is really interesting. Again, we go back to certain things. There's certain things that have definitely changed people's play in the game, for better or for worse. You know, we'll probably get into a little bit of that. I know we got some W key classics here that are probably might have something to say about the state of the game as far as that's concerned. All right, I want to get into, and I know I just talked about it, Streets. How many people here have actually put a decent amount of time in Streets? I have
50 hours.
Put enough time in to know what you're doing on the map, then.
Roughly, yeah.
I put enough time in to know that some of the quest item spawns are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like insane.
Yeah.
Like the one in the one in that one building that has, like, I don't know, it's got like what, 10 spawns. So you
talking about the medical one?
Yeah, with the that one, the guitar pick. I think that one.
Oh my god, yeah.
Spawns.
Oh yeah.
Like
Skybridge key, yeah.
Yeah, like I gotta waste like 15 minutes trying to check all the spawns, like trying to find that guitar pick. Like, okay.
So much loot, man. Really a lot of loot.
Yeah.
Imagine not having EFT Wiki to find all those spawns.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Well,
no
like
kidding.
The letter one in the beginning, when I first started trying to do that, the letter one, it was like, oh, I'll just watch a tutorial really quick. And the tutorial's like, yeah, it's got like 3 or 4 different spawns and 2 of them are invisible. So I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. Some of them are under this crate in the corner that you have to like crouch down and hit at a certain angle to see if it's there. Yeah. Love that.
Yep.
And honestly, I've only ever seen the car there once, and I died trying to take it. So I don't, you know.
The question though,
I've actually taken the car a bunch.
Why the dynamic spawn points for the quest items?
To make it harder for people to find the items, to make it take longer.
Yeah, so it's not just A to B.
It.
They want you to linger around the area. So it actually took me like 25 minutes to find that roll in the garage behind Lexos for that therapist task. It took way too long. I'm not proud of how long it took for me to find the damn thing. But yeah, them swapping it up. I imagine they'll rework all the quests to be that way. Even like the key you need on the train yard in customs by the ZB1011.
06 or whatever.
Yeah, they moved the folder. Sorry, the folder that you need. They moved it. It used to be on the left, and then they slightly shifted it to the right. So I imagine we'll see more of that moving forward.
Shit, I think it took, when I was playing with Jesse, it took Jesse probably 15 minutes to find it. Like, he was sitting inside there, and I'm like, and I killed like at least a player or two, like protecting him while he's inside the on streets looking for the therapist task.
Yeah, it was a change this wipe, especially some of the older tasks where they changed stuff, like in the train car now. There's like, you can spawn anywhere in that train car, whichever task that is, chemical whatever, part 3 or whatever it is. I was like, oh, we'll just run right over here, and then somebody said, no, they moved it, and then I'm like, okay, and then I'm like, oh, they're like, it's on the other side of the train now, and I'm like, nope, it's not there either. They're like, wait, what? So we had to figure that one out the hard way too. That was like, oh well, it can spawn anywhere basically in this train car right now. And I have mixed opinions on it, because at the beginning of wipe, there's certain tasks that aren't necessarily RNG, so you kind of get forced into doing some of the tasks, right? Where you're going to like portable cabin, or you're going to some of these places, and everybody is going there. And I think I got quest locked for a long time at the start of this wipe. I don't know if that happened to you guys, but I couldn't find my gas analyzers for a long time. I couldn't find my flash drives. I didn't finish my flash drive tasks. I think I just finished them like 3 weeks ago. So it took me a month to find my flash drives. And I mean, like, I know where they spawn. Everyone's like, well, safes, XYZ. The wipe before, I found them all on scavs, so I'm looting everything like an absolute maniac. Like, in the open, like, that scav's dead. He could have a flash drive on him, I ended up finding them at the tent on woods eventually after, like, however many raids. And I would only run, like, 5 or 6 raids and be like, I gotta go do something else, because if not, my eyes are gonna fall out of my head and roll down my desk.
Yep.
So I really don't like that at the beginning of wipe, where there's items that don't spawn. People can't find their Sawayas, people can't find their flash drives or gas analyzers. I just feel like if it's like a item that's below 20, they should kind of be all over the place. They should be on every map. You should be able to find them in like every looting section. Like, there should be one in like almost every building of reserve sort of thing. There should be one on like every little camp of, I mean, maybe not every, but like there should be a good amount that are spawning in. There should be almost enough to, for every player that goes in the map, for at least every group to find at least one of them. I remember when flash drives used to stick out of the computers. Yeah, Truckmaster just mentioned that in chat. Like, I remember that too.
I was moving items that other people might need around, like not taking them, but just leaving them in places they wouldn't look.
Toxic. Yeah. Being a villain, yeah.
Yeah.
Throwing the unknown key guy.
Oh, yeah. I still do that. I don't even know why. I don't need to.
You go loot that body and throw it somewhere else. Nobody gets it.
Right.
I honestly think that this wipe has been the worst for getting a task and that item literally disappearing from the loot pool. I tell Chad this all the time, and I swear, like, somebody said that somebody like a wiper grow found it out, and they like did the digging and found it, that when you get a task, it reduces the chance of getting it. But man, this wipe, every item that I needed that before I got the task, I would find tons of them. Like you were saying, you found all the flash drives. My goal when I first start is go customs, loot, jackets, safes, whatever, and then go reserve like nighttime on a scav and loot the 27 filing cabinets. And most of the time I have all of mine and I'm done. But when I get to the task and I don't have that item, I'm screwed and it takes me forever.
Yeah. It's pretty wild, and like I know what to save now because I'll do the same thing. I'll be on a certain map and be like, okay, we got to check these other places because I know 2 tasks in this, two more tasks, and I'm gonna be on this one where I need these items.
Yeah,
and I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna check all those spots. Like I know I need flash drives. I know I need gas cans. I know I need morphines, etc. So I like to try to save that stuff up because again, 6 wipes in, I know what I need, and just wasn't finding it this wipe. Just didn't find it. Even even trying to plan ahead, didn't find it, and it was very, very crazy. I know people that still come into my chat all the time. They're like, "Oh, I still need flash drives," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, Like, we're 2 months in a wipe, and like, granted, they're not putting as many hours in as I am, but like, even if you're like let's call it a serious casual player. Like you get home from work and you put some time in on Tarkov every day, and you're 2 months into the wipe and you haven't found your flash drives. That's a little bit frustrating, I would say.
I think it's Schrodinger's loot pools. Like it literally, so what's the last thing that you see on the screen when you load into a match? Loading loot, right? So they get all the players in together, everybody gets queued in. They're like, okay, this player needs flash drives, this player needs GPUs, this player needs this. It's a conspiracy. Like, I need a tinfoil hat for this one, but I'm telling you, man, it gathers everybody's quest objectives and dishes out the loot pools on the map based off everybody's objectives. Until I can pre-proven elsewise, that's what I'm sticking with.
Dude, I believe it. 100%.
I'm on board for that.
Because I was running with chat. And I was talking to Airwing, and he's like, imagine you're going in and looting all these stashes, but everybody in your group needs the evasion armband. So look at your chances now when the loot, you know what I mean? Like, if that is actually a thing, like, it's going to look at all the 4 other people you have. Oh, they all need an evasion armband? Not going to spawn it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, I'm telling you.
Yeah. It certainly feels that way. How do you guys feel about the changes that they've made as far as availability of some of the guns, weapons, taking stuff off Flea, taking stuff off traders? How do you guys feel about that, them taking the top tier stuff off?
I don't think it affects the in-game guys. I think it just affects the early game guys. The in-game guys will find a way to get it, honestly.
Yep.
I mean, I already have like 1,000 rounds of BP. And, like I have all of this stuff. I just throw up a craft and it crafts every single day. So like, I talk about it to my chat a lot where it's like, all the changes that they do don't affect me. I have 50 million rubles right now.
Yep.
So like, but the guy that comes home, and only, like you said, Dad Life gets a few hours to play is like struggling to play, can't find his flash drives. What pushes him to want to play Tarkov if they can't? It's not fun. I really think 2 wipes ago where everybody had millions and millions of rubles and everybody got to play and everybody had the weapons, the meta weapons, the slicks and stuff. I thought that was the funnest wipe because everybody had it and you always saw geared people. Now you just see a bunch of Timmies.
It was, I'm on board with that. For the best PvP that I've experienced was 2 wipes ago.
Yeah.
And then with the ammo changes and stuff like that, like by the time they reverted M80 to Peacekeeper 4, I had already had like 1,200 rounds of M80. So like it didn't affect me at all. And I would say I'm more like a serious casual. I wouldn't say I'm like, 'cause I don't full time. I still work a full time job and then just stream after work and stuff. But like that change, I was like, this change isn't gonna affect me. And then like within that next couple days, I had got Peacekeeper to level 4, and then I could buy it again. And then they buffed BCP to like all hell, and the next like couple days I'm dying to BCP everywhere. Like,
yeah. I think some of it was maybe a little bit too drastic on like the mid-tier ammos.
What about the recoil dispersion rework? And also the scab gun durabilities as well being changed so that now you can actually run scab guns. So on one end, it's like they removed access to a bunch of scopes and other things, but then they also made scab guns more usable. So it's almost like a balance that helps. I think at the end of the day, we have to focus on making the game fun for streamers, but also workable for the casual gamers, because this game long term it can't last if it's only streamers playing it. Only streamers able to sift through the grind.
Right. Yep. No, I agree. I like that change. I like the durability change on that stuff. So there's times where like I don't care. Like there's times where I'm like, I gotta run this crappy tasks. I'm not gonna bring my best gear. I'm just gonna run in there and get it done. And it's like, well, I'll grab this SKS that I just pulled off this scab last raid, repair it, and just run it. And if it jams, whatever, it jams. Like, there's definitely times where I run like that. And it's funny because I really haven't had an issue running a lot of those guns. I think I've only had a couple jams this wipe, and I know I think they did some touching up and reworking on that as well. But it was really interesting when they made the ammo changes, when you look at the changes, because they were like, no more M80, but you can still buy 7.62 by 5.4 PS, which is kind of like it's like their Russian gun ammo bias of them wanting to be as good or better than US guns that I've tended to see over time. It was like, hey, you can buy PS at level 3 at Trader, but you can't get, which is arguably as good, if not better, than M80, but they took M80 away. I thought that was really fun. It's like really weird. Like, look, if you're going to take everything over level that Pierce's level 4 armor, then move all of those to max traders, not just some of the ammo. And then they ended up making changes with some more of that stuff, because right off the rip, too, you could still get SP6 at level 3 traders, and I think they might have moved that at this point. So I found that interesting. It's almost like they were like, what's the most popular ammos that people like to use, the meta, and then nerf those, instead of looking at the actual statistics and being like, hey, this quality or tier of ammo we think is too strong to have this early in the game, and move all of those. They were just like, what are people using? 995, 85A1, BP?
Right, I love you.
Let's nerf them, get them out of here. And they're like, well, people are going to use M80 now, and they're like, get it out of here. Like, well, a lot of people aren't using SVDSs that much. They're like, yeah, that can stay, that's fine. And then what is the solution? I've seen more SVDSs, and I've used more this wipe than I had in past wipes, at least earlier in the game, which I don't like that gun at all. One thing that was
frustrating for me, watching guys like Vel and like seeing clips of him like just one tapping people with the new revolver, and then I'm all excited, like, yes, dude, I can't wait to get PS12B. This is gonna be so fun. Like, oh, Valiant's just out here just having a blast, blasting kids with his RSH. I'm like, oh, dude, that looks so cool. I can't wait to run it. And then they removed PS12B. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Never mind.
Just in time. I get taking BT ammo away because that SMG is broken. That new SMG is insane.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Even with what's available, Trader 3 PE, still disgusting. I want to ask Valiant, surprise mother bitch, revolver win?
Dude, it's so hard to do them now because they made reserve mark rooms just ass cheeks.
Yeah, ain't nobody going
and like nobody goes to the marked room at Arm Reserve. And then like I will go in. So I found a few places on streets that I have tried, which I had a guy come. So the new marked room on Reserve, I go into the little, I guess like walkway to the next building, and then I close both the doors. And I had a guy come the opposite way, and I knew he was going to the marked room, and I had to kill him. I was like, dang it! But I've sat there probably 4 or 5 times, and nobody's ever came. And I try to sit places, but I'm like, I don't want to just sit there for 45 minutes or 30 minutes and just wait, and nobody ever show up. Then it's just like, okay, this is boring. So
Yeah, what is he? Stankvel, you know?
Or Gino.
Gino.
Whoa, let's take it easy on Gino. Okay?
He's not even here to defend himself.
Yeah, he's having a tough time, man.
Yeah, he's a youngin'. It's okay. No, but I try to do surprise mother bitches, but dude, they're like everywhere I've tried to sit and find, or just nobody goes there. So,
yeah.
Sucks.
Make Mark Room great again.
I know,
Saying.
right?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just saying. Let's add Battle State. Day 1 of asking Battle State to make marked rooms great again.
Yeah,
they'll definitely listen to us.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally.
For sure.
I feel like that's kind of been the biggest decline is marked rooms, and then like the color key cards and labs, like just the decline of loot overall in them.
It all revolves around this bullshit cheating RMT shit. Tig said it the other day on Twitter that BSG is revolving the whole game around RMT and cheaters, and they have taken away, and the reason why I fell in love with Tarkov is because of the fact that you can get a key and you can go into a room and you can get an insane item. But how many times do you guys go into Shoreline, Reserve, wherever, and 90% of the time that I go into a room, I feel like I'm just walking out with scraps, which is like bolts, wires. Like I'm never walking out with like insanely good loot out of Reserve. I don't think I've ever walked out of something that's worth $200 or $300K out of Reserve. For how long?
Cases. Weapons cases.
Oh my God,
I love the Nick bags. Even an ammo case. I found an ammo case. It's a damn good day in the marked room. But I'm finding 8 rounds of 9x18 in a Makarov. Like, out of 10 used key.
Which ones are you opening? Customs?
Yeah,
dude,
customs.
A lot of people, dude, customs one to me are the best because they can spawn injector cases and they're like 1.2 million. So even if you get one of them out of the room, you're balling.
Yeah. I want to see weapons cases again. Make it super super rare, but just give me enough of a chance to get cheese when I push that lever to keep me pushing the lever, because I'm just not looting marked rooms. I don't care. I'm over it.
Agreed.
Or put wallets with, right. I mean, just overall, med cases, grenade cases, put that stuff back in. I agree, because I was a reserve main for a long time, and hitting reserve marked room was great. I love that. And if you didn't hit marked room, somebody already hit it, whatever, you fought somebody, whatever, they put stuff in their butt or it was in a good room, it didn't matter because there's plenty of loot to find on reserve. And I feel like every map should be like that. 4 or 5 wipes ago, I didn't sit there and be like, my stream title for the day was like ruble farming. That was never a thing, because I made ruble just by playing the game well, and I got rewarded for doing that. Now you play the game well, and you're like, well, this person's kit is meh, because it's probably a Timmy half the time, it feels like. Or you're like, well, I can take this kit out, and then I get another kit. Or I can try to find loot, but the loot that I find on the rest of the time isn't that great. Used to shove rigs in my bags and fill them up every single raid that I was successful. Now, sometimes I shove those rigs in my bag. I'm like, I'm going to fill these rigs up. We're going to min-max. It's going to be great. And then I run around and I'm like, wait, I walk out with 2 empty rigs because there's just no good loot. I mean, I could loot every file cabinet on reserve and make some more money, but they're only does anybody want to watch, or does anybody even want to every single raid hit every single file cabinet in every single drawer? No, you don't. If you're really down bad, go hit some file cabinets because nobody's hitting them right now, and you will make make money, but it's boring. Or an Intel, find an Intel. But I mean, it's like there's a certain point where you're like, dude, I don't want to be scrounging around for crumbs of loot and like, oh, here's 2,000 rubles. Let's put that in a slot. Like, there's a time where you just don't want to do that anymore. And at the beginning of Wipe, it's all fun, right? Anything, Sparkplug, whatever, you're excited about it, right? But a month and a half in, 2 months in, when you have max traders, you're like, I don't want to be digging through every single file cabinet, every single jacket, all the time. You're like, man, I want to just play the game, hit some try to find some high tier loot or find, bosses, etc. Like your outlook changes, and now it's different. There's no more, hey, you used to not find like the highest tier loot in a mark room, but you'd still walk out of reserve with like a 1.5 million in your backpack. Or there's other maps you'd do it with too. I mean, like you could go into customs and make money on customs without having to rat around and hit every stash and stuff, right? You'd go PvP a little bit, hit a marked room, unlock a couple of other rooms, maybe hit a couple stashes, you walk out of customs with 600k, 800k easy without even finding something super rare. Like, you don't do that anymore.
Part of it for me is like, I kind of feel like, so like when Lighthouse came out, like reserve loot dipped. To me, it felt like that, right? And then same thing, like when Streets came out, like Streets loot was crap. It's still insane. Street loot is bonkers. So it's like every time they come out with a new map, they'll like overly buff that map's loot pool, and then other maps kind of suffer. It seems like they fall off.
Interchange for sure. Interchange is abysmal.
Oh yeah, Interchange sucks now. I think they do that on purpose. I think so too. What you're saying is I think they do it on purpose so they get as much people as they can to go to that map to test it, and then they die the loot off.
Which can we talk about at the beginning of the wipe? Do you guys feel like there was too many people on that map all at once because you get a player scav in there they got a full raid. Player scavs are getting full raids on Streets.
Oh, I couldn't even play it on street. I mean, if we're talking about beginning of the wipe, first 3 before they rolled out that rubber banding fix, I didn't even mess with it. I played it offline.
Yeah.
I want to say that I've talked to somebody also Bobber down that they said they want that to be a thing, which to me doesn't make sense, and I talk about it all the time. Where if you're a scavenger, you are a scavenger and you should be scavenging into a raid and getting like scraps. You should not be able to fight a PMC 44 minutes into a raid. But I think it was Airwing. He said to me, he goes, you look at it as a scav, but these are the guys that are protecting their home. So these are the guys that are in the streets fighting the USEX or the PMCs and trying to push them back out of their own town. So that's why scavs are spawning in like super early, because that's what BSG wants. So to kind of have them as like a defense force to kind of get the PMCs to go away. It was like a bunch of lore stuff that Airwing was telling me. He's like, you shouldn't get into a bunch of it because it's just too much, but that's why they do it.
Well, it's interesting. Like they changed the scav timer on some maps. Like feels like maybe like a few weeks ago. Like I was scavving Shoreline consistently, getting like 15-minute scav runs, which by the time you would spawn in and I'd get up to resort, there'd be no PMCs there. It was basically just like free leftover whatever open room loot there was at the resort. And I've pulled like 9 Ledexes from Shoreline on a scav. So you were just getting the scraps of whatever PMCs are left over, but now that's consistently I'm getting like between 24 to 28 minute scav runs on Shoreline, or some of the timers on different maps. Like it feels like they set them differently. Like a couple of weeks ago.
They do this every wipe though. I know with Interchange, every wipe people complain about Interchange.
10 minutes
coming in at 42 minutes or whatever. And then after a few weeks, that issue just goes away because they set it back down to like 15 to 10 minutes or whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think
That's
they
a
do it every
population
wipe. They
thing,
always
yeah.
change 'em.
Interesting.
Right. Yeah, it's a weird balance thing. Reserve is always around like 25 minutes. Every once in a while I get one that's longer than that, and sometimes it's shorter, but reserve is always pretty consistent. But I would say, and I think the biggest swing is interchange. I've been into interchange at like you said, like 42 minutes, spawn inside the mall. The people that spawn the furthest out aren't even in there yet. And then I think, and then there's times where I've spawned in interchange and I have like 9 minutes and 42 seconds left. And I'm like, well, that's just not enough. Like, why bother me spawning into this raid? You know, the scav system is broken since they put karma in. I don't see I miss no like, I like the karma thing and it's fun and trying to make friends and whatever and try to be the good scav. Like, okay, that's great. But like, I don't get rewarded for it. When you have max karma, it's not like, hey, you know, you kind of get like the buffed scav. No, I still get scavs with a pistol and no backpack.
Billions enjoying max scav karma.
Oh yeah, I love it, dude. Kidding me?
Same.
It's fun.
I do think there should be stuff added to it, and I've talked to Jesse about it, and Jesse had some really good ideas where he said, you know, once you get to max scav karma, this is what he stated. You don't get to choose your map as a scav until you get max scav karma. And then once you get max scav karma, if you get to like 8 or 9 scav karma, you get a like 1 to 2 item butt slot for your scav.
Right.
Ooh.
And so like you earn something for being a good scav. Like really now, like what do you get for being max scav karma? You get to hang around bosses and bait people in and get free loot, which is honestly pretty sweet. Or you can, you know, I spawn with a labs card, you know, pretty much every raid on my scav, but that's about it. I mean, nothing is anything crazy. Like,
I think it'd be fun to iterate if you got max scav karma to have a random shot at scavving into labs.
That would be cool. I just want Fence's max tier loot is terrible. Right?
Yeah,
it's useless. Without adding a 30-40% reduction in prices, you can just buy all that stuff on the flea market.
I think that if you were a scav and you don't have negative scav karma, you should be able to walk around the bosses. That's what I think. They're scav bosses, right? They're local bosses. Unless you are a jerk to them, they shouldn't be a jerk to you. I don't think that I should have to earn up to 6 to not get shot by them. I think right off the bat, as long as I'm not negative scav karma, then whatever, we're cool. You know? Negative scav karma, whatever, they're going to light you up. They're like, oh, those are the little hoodlums trying to take over, you know, reserve. We're not going to let them do that. Boom, shoot, you get shot. You know, I think that's the way that it should be. And then, no, I think they could do it like this. So, and this would be like a back end issue. And I don't even know how they do it right now. How do they pick the loadouts? Are they totally random? They could scale the loadouts and assign everything like a value, right? And as you get higher scav karma, you're allowed to have more value to start your raid. So say like a scav vest is 3 points, an SKS is 2 points. Well, maybe like a Triton rig is 5 points, and you could get, you know, an AK with a suppressor, and that's 10 points. So when you get up to 6, you get like a threshold, and all of your loadouts will be randomized as a total of, say, 80 points. When you hit scav karma 4, you hit scav karma 8, right. It's a total of 120 points. See, you go in with a better set, you go in with a bigger backpack, and it's not going to always be a bigger backpack. If it's not a bigger backpack, it might be a bigger rig. But that way it's kind of equalized as your scav karma gets up. You've been scavving around a long time, right, on your scav, because that's why you have scav karma. So therefore, you know, you've probably earned a little bit of street cred out there in Scavland, in Tarkov, to the point where you have better loot when you go in. You know, and it should be consistent. It shouldn't just be totally random. Hey, I've been killing it on my scav. Why do I have a PM pistol, no backpack, and a scav vest, and no heals when I load in at 8 scav karma. That shouldn't happen. I think that blows my mind. They're like, good luck. You're like, well, I'm just going to disconnect because what am I going to do? What am I going to put in my thing?
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. I actually, so right now at high, like max scav karma, you're looking at a labs card, a red flare, and Valiant. How many fucking Gingy keychains do you have, man?
Oh my god, every other raid
you never had them, but you get a Gingy keychain every single time.
Every other raid, dude. Like, holy crap. Man.
Crazy.
It only took me 90 to find mine for last wipe for Kappa.
Yeah.
You know.
They buffed her spawn rates for sure. For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Between her and Willers, I ran like 300 raids just to find those last 2 items.
Nice.
Beyond marked keys.
All right. I'm curious to know how you guys feel, and this has been like I think 2 wipes now. How do you guys feel about just like you? To me, I don't get to fight people like I used to. Like I don't get to. They added the blunt damage and the collaterals. Like what? I think it was 2 wipes ago, 3 wipes ago. And ever since they added that, the fights that you have, unless you're the first person to shoot, there's no way that you're turning on somebody and fighting them and beating them. You're just insta-dead.
Okay.
Depends on the tier player you're fighting.
I mean, regardless.
So I have done extensive testing, and I'm in the middle of doing a video on this. On the collateral damage and how it works. And we'll talk about it now. I'm gonna spoil it. Everybody watch the video when it comes out on YouTube. But anyway, YouTube partner this year. But so if somebody hits you, somebody's facing you and you shoot their arm and it goes through their forearm, it will then go through their back arm and black out the limb, even if that bullet doesn't have enough penetration. Or if the bullet has enough penetration, it's going to go through the arm both times. Okay, so if it's like BP, I think BP does like 46 damage. That's not enough to black out your arm, but what it's doing is it's hitting your forearm and like your bicep area, so it's hitting you twice. So you're getting double the damage on this arm, and then depending on the angle, there's pass-through damage. So on this arm, it's going to hit your forearm. It's going to hit this arm. So now it's saying it's calculating, say, 80 damage instead of 46 because it hit your limb twice, okay? All of that additional damage that is overflow from the 60 that your arm takes gets spread to every other limb equally. Now, there's certain situations, and I don't know if this is intended or not, but if you shoot somebody in their knee, straight in their knee, it will damage them twice because the game can't decide whether it's lower leg or upper leg, so it gives them both damage. And then if somebody's crouched and you shoot them in your knee, you're going to hit lower leg, upper leg, and then you can have a chance of collateral damage into the stomach. And then every limb that gets blacked out in that process is going to push collateral damage to the rest of your body. So that's the way the collateral damage is working right now. And I spent a ton of time. I spent an entire afternoon reverse engineering how they calculated it. And then I tried to repeat that with other ammos. So basically, their algorithm for calculating how much damage gets passed through, depending on how many limbs, is wicked overcomplicated, which might be part of the reason we have desync, because their algorithms are ridiculously stupid. Because it's got to be factoring it in penetration or something. So if you're running like wicked high penetration stuff, and say you're running and somebody shoots you in the side, they could potentially shoot you in one arm, go all the way through your thorax, and shoot you in the other arm, black both those arms out. There's additional damage on both those arms, which goes to the rest of your body. And if it's like a 338 Lapua and you don't have enough armor on, you're going to black out your chest. It's going to get pushed to the rest of the stuff. And then like you only have so much HP in your head. So when we look at damage charts and stuff like that as well, like there's always like, when we look at a lot of damage charts, it says like fragmentation chance, right? So like on RIP, it says 100% fragmentation chance. What do you guys think that means?
It's going to hit every other part of your body.
Every time. So it's going to spread out. So it's going to hit your leg, but then you're also going to take damage to all your other limbs, or at least another limb.
No.
100% of the time.
Doesn't work that way. It's a useless number. It's a made up number. if I shoot you with, I think it's 9mm rip, it's 103 flesh damage. I shoot you in your leg, it does 103 flesh damage. Of course, you won't have 103 damage in your leg, so it distributes stuff to the rest of your body. But that has nothing to do with it being rip ammo and having fragmentation chance. We tried a bunch of different ammo. FMJ, not FMJ, rip ammo. You're looking at all those damage charts are super misleading. There is no fragmentation chance on any ammo. We shot ammo with 0 fragmentation chance and 100% fragmentation chance. It's whatever the total amount of flesh damage is what people are going to get hit by. That's right, I'm the math police right now. Yep. And the same thing goes for like heavy bleed, light bleed. Some of those are like heavy bleeds and light bleeds. Every ammo can cause a heavy bleed or light bleed. So we don't know what those calculations are. Surprise, surprise. Imagine that. Somebody tried to make these damage charts and reverse engineer their stuff, but I spent tons and tons of time testing this stuff. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it. It's got it has, like, everything can cause bleeds, basically. You know? So when you're dying to a lot of collateral damage, the only thing I think you're dying to is people are hitting multiple limbs and 2 desync.
So when is this YouTube video coming out? And can we get a YouTube link to your YouTube channel so you can tell these people to go sub? I want to see this.
So
there we go.
I have the script written. It's taken me a lot of time, and I just started working full time again, so a little less time to work on it. But I've got like a half hour.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got like a half hour of just script to go through. So, go ahead, Bill.
Well, you know what I was gonna say is that, like, you know, if there's not people like you or Veritas or anybody else in the community that doesn't test these things, how are we going to know what is not broken and what is broken? Like, I never knew that you can get shot in the lower arm and upper arm, and then it hits you for 80 damage. That to me does not make sense. It doesn't seem like it's correct, because your arm is your arm. Like, right. If it's gonna have a half of, you know, my lower arm and my upper arm, it shouldn't count. It should count them 2 separately, right? It shouldn't count like, oh, you get hit in the lower arm and the upper arm, it's 80 damage. Because what's happening is, I feel like things are not working correctly, and nobody knows until people test them out. And that's why, you know, you're sitting, you know, you have a guy in the bush, and, you know, like I said, they added this whole collateral thing. You have a guy in the bush. He shoots you twice in the leg. It hits you once, blacks your leg out. He hits you again in the leg, and then it collaterals every single other body part 6 times, and then you just fall over. And it's like, dude, I'm wearing a slick, a Riz tee. There's no shot that I should not be able to turn and put bullets onto this guy, because 90% of the time I just fall over. And it's like, oh, okay, well, I guess, you know, we're on to the next one, but...
Yeah,
I feel like there's no fighting back anymore, and that's what I was wanted to know how you guys felt about that.
Yeah, in respect to that, you keep shooting a black limb, it keeps passing all that damage to every other limb that's not blacked out. So if you that's why like leg meta and stuff is the most powerful that it's ever been, especially with rip ammo. I mean, if I hit you for 103 damage, you have 440 HP, right? So I'm killing you in 5 bullets, no matter where I hit you. You're dead in 5 bullets. Doesn't matter. As long as I hit you with 5 bullets, you die. It could be your arm, could be your legs. I could shoot your blacked out legs. Like, it doesn't matter. Once that total damage from those bullets hit your body, you're done. And now if those bullets count for double damage because of a weird knee thing or something with leg meta, then you're dead in 3 or 4 bullets.
So, you just said rip rounds, right?
Well, it could be any. Every ammo has a flesh damage, right, associated with it.
Yeah.
So whatever the flesh damage is, with the exception, and this is, you take away armor, they don't hit you in the armor at all, okay? However many times it takes that round to hit you, that's when you're gonna die. So like, if it's 40, if it hits you for 40 damage and you get 0 bleeds through the whole thing, they're going to hit you 11 times and then you die. And that's with no pass through, no nothing. So it's just by total amount of damage because they changed it in September to the point where if you shoot a blacked out limbs used to negate some of that. They used to negate the damage if you kept shooting a blacked out limb for a while. Like if you kept shooting a blacked out limb, it wouldn't do additional damage. But they decided to make it so blacked out limbs wouldn't count as your total overall HP. So if you get a limbed blacked out, I don't know, I think arms 60 HP. So that means your total health pool is 380. So it gets sent to, the damage doesn't get absorbed by your arm at all, and it gets pushed to the rest of your body. So it's really just a total health pool. Now there's no mitigation to that, which is not, I mean, if we want to talk about that, Tarkov real life, if you get shot 3 times in the arm and it doesn't hit you anywhere else, you probably put a tourniquet on it and cry and feel like shock or something, but you're not going to die because you got shot in the arm 3 times, right? I don't care what the ammo is. As long as it didn't hit you anywhere else in your body, you're going to live for a while longer unless you bleed out. So that's kind of the way that it is, and it's very frustrating, but I think the biggest thing is we want to know how, that stuff goes through, like how collateral damage works. But I think the crazy thing is how blacked out limbs work, because they don't really make any sense. They're not true to life, and that's where I get lost, So but that's why Ketter's so strong right now.
What if, instead of damage being split out to every other limb, the max durability of the limb when you revived it, or when you fixed it with a CMS, was reduced based off damage taken to the leg, right? So like if I shoot you with a 308 round, right, and I absolutely batter your leg, and you manage to mangle it together with duct tape and scissors and whatever, that leg is already going to be like gimped, right? It's going to be messed up. So I just wonder if there was a rebalance in that direction. What you guys think?
I mean, what it was before was if you got shot. So I don't know. I mean, you've been playing Captain K for that long.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But when you used to get shot and you had a black limb, they didn't have CMSs, they did not have serve kits, and you got shot in that leg, you died instantly. There was nothing. There was no. Oh, you got to do. If you were praying. If you had a black limb, you were like praying that no one shot you or scav shot you, nothing. If you got hit anywhere, you were insta-dead.
You ran on it?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It was brutal, man. People don't remember.
It's not as bad now. Right. I just, I'm a PvPer and I like to play PvP. But for me, like I said, I don't ever see myself turning on somebody and getting to fight them unless they hit me in my armor. You know what I mean? If I get hit in the leg, bam, 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 I'm dead. If I get hit in the stomach, bam, 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 I'm dead. Like, there's no turning around and, like, being able to flick on somebody and being able to kill them. Before the update that they did the blunt damage and the collaterals, man, I could run, jump, a guy shoots me 3 times, I can literally flick and kill him, and he would die. Now, I'm dead in 2 shots, and it's just like, GG, okay.
Right.
Because
your limb's getting hit twice, right? According to the work that Dad's done.
Yeah.
So
some limbs, and depending on the angle, it might be passed through from the arm to the chest or stomach to the top of your leg, or of course.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Which doesn't make sense, because how are you going to get if somebody's looking directly at you, right, and they shoot you in the arm? I mean, I guess the bullet could freaking go through. I mean, 90% of the time, the bullet's going to go right through, right? It's not going to just hit something and then bounce into your, upper chest.
Right.
But,
no, I mean, I think that it's really weird, especially the black limbs. The things that I think they could do, they could strongly mitigate that damage if you get shot in your black limb again. Instead of it doing like 100% of that flesh damage, reduce it. Make it like 40 or 30% that gets passed to the rest of the body. You know, so yes, some stuff gets passed, but not all of it. The other thing that I would like to see them do is just like do the tunnel effect. And depending on how many bullets you get shot with, the tunnel effect is good because you're going to be in pain. And even if you're pre-medded, like there should be some sort of tunnel vision. And yeah, when you're messed up and you got heavy bleeds, you got blood everywhere. But there should be like an immediate, almost, you know, where a bullet whizzes by your head and the screen blacks out in a little bit. It should be like that. But as your limb gets blacked out and gets like smashed, then make a blackout effect to the point where I can at least try to counterplay and still see the center of my screen if there's somebody in front of me, instead of me just dying. You know, something like that, I think, is more realistic, right? My limbs blacked out. I'm in a ton of pain. I'm trying to grit through. And then that would be something like vitality or something could offset that, right? If you're like a battle-hardened warrior and you have high vitality,
like
your
stress
limb
resistance
gets blacked out, your stress resistance, maybe it doesn't close in as much. That's something like I would do. You know, if it was...
So you said that they should reduce the amount of damage it does to black limbs. And sit here and think about it. They just reduced the amount of when you got shot, right, in your stomach, it would take how much of your energy or whatever it's called, your whatever
stamina.
Your stamina, there you go. Sorry. Your stamina. Imagine they did what they did with stamina, where instead you getting hit and losing 50% of your stamina, it feels like I'm losing 50% of my life when I get shot twice, when I should only be losing 10-15% like the stamina like they just did. Imagine if they did the same thing. You would actually be able to turn and fight people, and you would have some fighting chance instead of just falling over because a guy sits in a bush and shoots 2 bullets. That'd be cool to see.
The stamina thing was like, that was huge. Like that, I had to completely change my pathing when I was going around different maps and locations and things. So I'm like, dude, if I get shot once on this run, I'm dead because I'm gonna be I can't move.
Yep.
You'd get hit once before they changed that. It was like you get hit once and you're like, I'm a rock now.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So an idea, I've thought about it. So like when people get shot IRL, right? Typically adrenaline courses through their body. And you see this in numerous videos. The point is that what about like a short, like 1 second, 2 second adrenaline buff, essentially, when you get hit to give you a chance to fight. Yeah. Now I know that there could be some negatives and positives to it, but if we're talking about realism here, you get hit, you're gonna have adrenaline flowing through you.
Right. Yeah. No,
you never know what Nikita wants. Like there's so much realism, and then there's so much not realism.
Right.
So like, I feel like there's 2 different worlds, and you just like can't figure out what world they want to go to.
Yeah.
I just think he's not aware sometimes. Like, look at what the Veritas video did, where Veritas spelled it out plain as day. Look, Nikita, I think this is your vision. This is what you want. And then the changes were made within a couple of days later. I think that he just isn't aware. Like, I don't think he spends a lot of time personally playing the game. I think he watches it a lot more than he plays it. So
right, yeah.
I would pay to see Nikita play.
Oh yeah,
1 to 42.
Yeah,
if he played from 1 to 42, I bet his whole different hit. He would be like, "Wait, what?
Let's get him to put Bitbot on too. And we can raise a lot of money, and we'll raise so much money. Arena could be free for everybody.
Yeah,
or we get a better anti-cheat.
Yeah. We could just buy another anti-cheat.
There's plenty of money for that.
How do you guys feel about some of the new stim pens and stuff?
Trimadol SJ6 Meta, just saying, run forever.
God, yeah,
that's amazing. Great. It's kind of broken, but it costs you 90,000 rubles to run and makes you hungry and thirsty as hell. So
yeah,
Perpetora.
There's some downsides.
I think it's Perpetora. That's amazing. It's replaced the Zagustin.
Yeah, completely.
Yep, because it gives you a heal and it stops all your bleed. So it's like, why not use it?
Yeah.
So it's Zagustin ETG.
Mm-hmm.
Propofol is painkiller again too.
Yep.
So is the Trimadol.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean that I like that stuff. I'm cool with them playing with, you know, like who cares? At the end of the day, they make some adjustments to stims, and what does it matter? It's like those are like little bonuses to the game, right? You know, I think that I think it's the major changes that don't seem to get extensively tested. We're just like, hey, I think this is a good idea. We're gonna throw it in the game, and then stubbornness to admit that maybe it was wrong. Like that's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Seems like they have a difficult time kind of going, hey, this was wrong. I don't know if it's a pride thing or what, but it seems like sometimes they'll put something in new and then just kind of just not address it for a while.
Yeah.
ESG always goes from one spectrum to the other. And here an example is was it 2 wipes ago where you could go into labs and find 4 LEDXs, 5 graphics cards, 7 Bitcoins, and then come out with like 4 million rubles. And then I think Hyper was on his billion ruble grind and lost 40 million rubles in like 4 days because there was no loot on any maps at all. And I mean, I don't know if you guys remember that, but it was like 2 wipes ago where there was literally no loot anywhere behind locked doors.
I remember. Yeah,
on the ground, nothing. And
the day that they were like, we're testing out dynamic loot, and then there was just nothing.
Yep.
Yeah, they tested it out, and then there was so much, and they were like, oh god, there's so much loot everywhere, and then they turned it off. So like, what they usually do is they go from one spectrum, which is way too much or not enough, and then they go way too much, and then they like balance it out. But it takes them like a wipe to balance it out.
Right. Right. It moves slow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I always say this. BSG, this is kind of like off subject, but every single wipe, in the beginning of wipe, there's a problem, and it takes them a month to fix it. How long has one wipe been? A month and a half now?
Mm-hmm.
So we're 2 months in, like, almost this week, coming week.
So it's taken them almost 2 months to fix the invisibility and the sound. Like, by that time, those 2 months are so crucial for the game to keep the player base and keep people wanting to play it. And then that's where you see your drop off because people are like, yeah, fuck this. I don't care. I don't want to deal with this crap.
You're making an assumption that that this patch coming up, which we don't know what it is, no patch notes, is to fix those 2 things. It might not even be to do those things. It might be like, we're fixing some back-end optimizations, you're going to get better frames on streets. And that could be
it's what, a 4-hour update, so the game's going to be down. Usually when the game goes down like that, it's something big, so we'll see.
I mean, it could be like big. Their last tweets, though, where they were saying what they were going to fix in coming patches. It's probably going to be some of those.
Probably is. It's 0.13.0.3 is the patch name. Installation 4 hours. I would expect that their tweet from the 10th would be what they're going to apply. I mean, obviously So you're looking at reverted the mechanics of quest reward skill calculations before patch 0.13. Fixed fence rep calculation for killing Zerachi. Various fixes for icons, visibility, loot, ammo, attachments. New version of DLSS. Hey, reworked and improved the player group system. I think that means we're going to stay in a group. They promised that at the beginning of the patch. But just various fixes and invisibility bug fixes.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things I noticed. I was like, wait, what happened to the grouping system they were going to change? And they said it was going to be in there, and it just wasn't. So
got pushed back.
Hopefully that's in there. That'd be great.
That would be nice. That would definitely be nice. And I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like this is terrible again. I feel like last wipe was a little bit better, and I feel like it's gotten worse again this wipe. I've died behind a lot of walls. How do you guys feel
100%
where desync is this wipe?
Terrible.
Go ahead.
No, I've made my peace. Go ahead.
Maybe, at the beginning of I think it was like the end of last wipe, man. You know, you can ask anybody in my chat. I was going on a rampant, like pissed off. I was so mad of dying to desync all the freaking time, and I would like analyze my videos, and I was just like unpleasant to watch. I know it. And
raids to battle bit.
Yeah. So
I was
like
in there several mornings watching you.
Dude, I cannot when like the DC it's either I've gotten to the point where I just don't give a fuck no more and I just don't care about desync, or it's not as bad for me right now and I don't see it as much. I think it's because I'm trying to take it a little bit slower and not just W key around as much as I possibly can, because I feel like when I go as fast as possible, that's when I find the most desync. When I take it slow and hold an angle, or take an angle slow, or take a fight slower, I'm not dying to as much desync. When you play super fast, that's when you see all the desync.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I had to turn off some of the East Coast stuff, because when I would get into raids with a decent amount of EU players in them, it felt like I encountered more desync. So I feel like with the changes they made to servers, that sometimes when you get those cross water minglings of player bases where you have EU players in NA server lobbies, that you run into that desync a little bit more. That's just my own thoughts.
I think that's a fair point, because if you think about it, my ping is to the server, right? Not to that other player. So if someone's playing overseas and their ping's 100 and mine's 60, we're really at 160. You know, for me to them. You know, we look at it that way. And I don't know exactly how they calculate things server side and send it back. I don't think it's like Valorant. I'm sure it's not. Because they have their own private servers. So, that being said, I think that I've lost so many fights this wipe where as soon as I see somebody, I'm dead, or I don't even see them, or I've seen them pop out from behind a wall and I heard them and then they were 5 feet out from behind the wall shooting me, and then I'm dying, like before I even hear the shots. And I'm hearing the shots for the first time as my guy's blacking out, hitting the floor. That's been my experience, to the point where I went through and like updated my PC and redid a bunch of stuff, because I was like, maybe it's my PC, maybe I turned a refresh rate off on my monitor, maybe it's my capture card that's causing an issue and I'm getting video lag. Why am I dying to these people? I spent like 8 hours going through my PC, because at a certain point I was like, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's on my end. Maybe I have some sort of weird video lag where, you know, there should be on my screen, but I'm not seeing them on my monitor yet. I don't know. But I don't think that's the case at all. And, you know, it's very frustrating. I don't think I've ever experienced desync like this in any game that I've ever played. I've had hit reg issues. I've had issues where, like cheater issues, yes. Issues where, like lag issues, which are very apparent and I can see, or you can see when people are like ping abusing in other games. Like I've seen that in a million different games, you know, but just desync on a regular basis as to how code gets from one player to the other, back and forth to the server, blows my mind. I feel like, this is my analogy of it. I feel like when you build a game, or you build any program, if you want it to run well, it's like opening a file cabinet. You file everything in alphabetical order so you know where to find it, right? And then, so when you go to find your files, bullets, everything else, great. Because 4 wipes ago, I used to make 140 frames on Tarkov. The game don't look that much better now than it does now than it did then. So it's not like they added a bunch of textures and stuff. This is what I feel like happens. I feel like at the start, they kind of had a filing system, but it was weird Russian alphabet, and they didn't even know how to file it correctly. And now they just take files, there's a file folder, they just throw them on the top of the file cabinet, and they leave them there. They're like, there's your patch, we put more information on there. And then when the servers go to try to read this stuff, there's a bunch of disorganized, non-optimized information, and that's why the more time goes on, the more stuff they put into the game. We're having higher RAM usage, desync feels bad, I get ping errors and stuff all the time now. There's got to be a reason for it, and the only thing that I can think of is instead of keeping a nice, clean, organized file system, they just take stuff and now they're just like, you want invisibility fixed? Well, we're just going to throw the invisibility fix right on top of the pile of the file cabinet right there, you know, and without actually filing it away. That's my analogy of how I think, which is just like tinfoil hat almost, but I don't think it is. I think I have a hat on and maybe it's reflective. And so, I feel like that's what happens.
How many people on the Battle State team did you say? 300?
Oh, I forgot what the number
200?
is. The 280 or 283 or something like that I saw. Which they said it could have been more. That's old information. So it could be more.
My point is this. You ever try doing a task with 5 people and then doing the same task with 50 people? Chaos happens quickly and you don't necessarily get it done more efficiently. Because there has to be the management structure has to make sure everybody is working in tandem on the same thing. So you may have one programmer going, this is how we'll fix it. And then the next programmer comes in and goes, no, we'll fix it this way. And then at some point you have this jumbled mess of just nightmare patch code to look through. And I think that may be where we're at. How long has the game been in development now? Right? Nikita's talked about cursed old code. You've heard him say this, right? Like we rework old cursed code. Like this is like ancient code, he says, right? Like so how much of that's still in the game? And I bet that's why we're seeing this experience.
Does it ever get fixed though?
We can only look at our experience, right, and say no. No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
So in some ways it's better. Hey, but hang on. But in some ways it's better. Listen, back in my day, okay, the year was 2018. The server would fucking freeze for 3 whole seconds. Everything would freeze. Everything. Everybody just stops, dude. It's like red light, green light. Red light just got hit. Everybody stops. You can't even play, and then suddenly the server resumes. So yes, they have gotten better. But has it been noticeably better in terms of desync lately? Depends on the day, man. Depends on the day. Depends on my server. Depends on like a million different things. On average, though, game feels just as desync as ever.
Yeah. Have you guys been clearing your logs? And
I have not. Does that help?
My game runs so smooth.
All right, I'm gonna go do that right now.
It's like a daily thing for me now.
I'm doing that right
now.
Yeah,
I tried it. Didn't do anything.
I have no idea if that's helping me or not at all.
It'll make you feel better.
Yeah. Placebo effect?
I mean,
I don't know.
Yeah, placebo help.
Yeah, dude. I mean, and granted, this has to be with my PC build, but like, I can't make 70 frames on any map. I can't make over 70 frames anymore.
It's not you, dude. Like I have a 3080 Ryzen 9 5900X and like 36, however much gigs of RAM, and like I'm running like 50 FPS on streets, and then if I run Lighthouse and I use a scope, I go down to like I'll be at 70 FPS, and then I'll drop down to like 15 if I scope in anywhere.
I had the same problem. Problem though. Yeah. You know what fixed it for me though?
What?
It turns out I had XMP overclocking for my memory enabled, but I was only putting out like 1.4 volts to my RAM. I jacked it up to 1.6, immediate like 30 FPS boost across streets on Lighthouse. So I would just double check the voltage of your RAM and see if it's a little bit lower. I might help you.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, I feel like I have similar specs to you, Val. And I
3080, 10700K here. I was like, I should not have problems on streets. I should not have problems on Lighthouse. I think it's the RAM, man. I really do. Yeah, I think it's the RAM issue. Streets and Lighthouse are the only 2 maps that jack up my RAM to 24 gigabytes. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Right.
It shouldn't, though. It shouldn't do that. That goes back into hey, our file system isn't organized. So we just kept throwing more and more crap on top of it. and now we got to use 24 gigs of your RAM instead of what probably should be 12 or 16. You know, we have to keep all these files open and running. You know,
I feel bad for like the player base that doesn't have like rigs like.
Oh, the 8 gigabyte gamers.
They can't even play Streets.
They can't play anything. They can't even play Tarkov. What do you mean?
You can play Factory.
You would be
Factory offline.
You can play Tarkov on Bell. Sometimes, you know, when you're waiting for players, dude, that's those guys on their smart fridge.
Listen, just because I can't microwave food and run my PC at the same time, all right?
That life's multitasking on a scab.
You know? I used to have somebody back in the day. I was a WoW addict, and we had somebody, and he was wired in, but anytime his wife would turn on the microwave, he would lag.
Chad is Chad, Chad is dad.
And he would like lag out of raid. We'd be like, dude, we just messed this boss up. He'd be like, yo, I told my wife not to use the microwave. She just used it. I'm sorry. We were like, you do your job. And it was because his microwave was running.
Background.
Yeah.
I told you not to use the microwave.
He's lagging.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy.
Imagine the people that have 8 gigabytes of RAM and they're like loading in a factory and they're like, yeah, this is gonna be great. And then they run into somebody like me with like a Riz T and a Slick on, they just get insta one. Dude, I don't see how some people play the game, man. That's why I try to be nice to people and, you know, be friendly sometimes. So, you know, people, you know, get out and they have like a good time.
I'm the anti-Val. For every good deed you do, Valian, I want you to know that I'm out there doing like twice as many bad deeds.
Yeah.
He seems like a really nice guy, but you don't want to be a Timmy running into Bobber.
No, you don't.
Dude, I love helping people. It's so much fun, dude. We were talking about the Gingy Keychain Captain K, and I had a guy that I met, and it was like 20 minutes into a raid. So there was like 5-6 minutes left. And I walked into Big Red, and this guy was up in the top of Big Red, and he goes, "Hey man, I'm just a PMC. I'm really trying to get out, man. It's really dark. I don't have nods. You know, can you please, you know, just let me go?"
Help me, man.
Man. So I went up there and I dropped in a Gingy Keychain. I was like, "Hey man, you know, you need this. You can put keys in it." And he goes, "What? You can put keys in this thing?" Like his excitement, dude. Yeah. His excitement put a smile on my face because it's like, oh my god, this guy's such a Timmy. He doesn't know these things. It was so awesome.
Yeah, you're living through him vicariously.
Vigorously is mine.
I asked every player scav, period, when I played on Streets for like 4 days straight. Do you have an SJC 10? Do you have an SJC 10? No. Finally, guy checks his inventory. SJC this? And he drops it on the ground. I lose my shit. Like probably the same level of like when you found your evasion armband, you just lost your shit. I saw that. Probably that same level of just fucking fuckery. I was blown away. This guy was nice enough to help me and help me extract. Stuff like that is like penultimate Tarkov experience, honestly.
Oh yeah.
On my scavs, I'm nice, but as a player, I am not nice.
Toxic as hell. Absolutely. I'll do like one good deed for every 10 bad deeds, and I figure it kind of balances itself out.
I don't think you know, Captain K, because I'll do like the long play. Like this will be like a, oh dude, we're gonna get you juiced. Like run the whole raid, kill a bunch of people, have them carry all the loot to extract them, and kill them. And then take all the loot.
That's terrible. So like my rule is I'm friendly until somebody betrays me. And then everybody's fucked for the rest of the day. So, you know, I'm friendly all day long, and if somebody just shoots me in the face and I'm being nice to them, everybody the rest of the day just dies. I don't give a shit. I'll be bobber down after, you know, I'm like, "Hey, what's up? You want to be friends?" And they'll turn the corner, I'll just tap them in the face like, "Fuck you, bitch."
That's pissed today. Oh shit, man.
Because the other guy betrayed me. Screw you, dude.
Yeah. So I think my favorite instance of this recently was I got this labs cheater to disarm and let me run around with my sword, but I had my AK still on. I befriended him. I was complimenting him like, "Oh yeah, you got him, man. Let's go. You got him." And I waited until he wiped the whole lobby. He goes to loot the last body. I whip out my AK and just give it to his legs. And that was one of those moments where it's just like absolutely appropriate toxicity. And by the way, he's level 8 with a couch backpack, jumping higher than the Super Mario Brothers. Like it was
RMT ban, RMT ban.
Yep, banned. I didn't pick up any gear. I didn't want to get banned.
RMT ban, right. 60 days for your account.
I touched nothing, and I walked out the lobby.
All right. So let's take a couple minutes here. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take a bit of breath and break, stretch our legs. I'm gonna put the BRB screen up, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, we're back. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Sorry about that. I need to go do dad stuff and get some more water. All right. So, next on the docket is going to be a very heated topic within the Tarkov community right now. Very recent, hit home for some people. Battle State's pursuit of stopping RMT. Now, anybody that doesn't know what RMT is, real money trading, it's trading real money for something, some sort of goods or service in game, whether it's items or run-throughs or, you know, whatever. What are your guys' thoughts before we even get into how they're treating RMT and what they're doing about it? I want to know what you guys feel about just RMT in gaming, period. Mr. Ambrose, you get to start. Things are labeled incorrectly. My bad.
So, like, even back in the 90s, I was playing Diablo, and I think back then people were doing RMTs for gold and whatnot.
That is Chad.
I never did it. I mean, I'll put it this way, even in like Grand Theft Auto, like single player, I don't even use cheat codes. I don't like any of that crap, and I've always just played stuff straight up. Like if I suck at a game, you know, so be it. Then I suck at it and I lose and I die, and I've never had an inkling to like, well, I'm gonna pay money to like try and get a leg up, because I mean, even especially in Tarkov, you could buy a 1,000 slicks and still get one tapped because you suck at the game. So it doesn't even matter that much. But as far as like RMT overall, I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of people saying recently, an opinion that they think that BSG should add some kind of purchase system into the game, and that would counteract this like black market RMT system. I have no idea if, you know, how that would play out or if that would work or not, but if you guys have seen that opinion, I'd like your opinion on it too.
Okay.
I haven't
Bobber,
seen
how do you
anything
feel
about
about it? Just RMT
I haven't
in
seen
general.
anything about that. I will say that I used the hashtag RMT in a few short form videos and things, and I have seen now some RMT Discord advertisement things within my For You pages on different social medias now.
Oh yeah.
And then I'm like trying to like, and then I'm like, how do I report this? Who do I report this to?
They won't
I've
do
just been
anything.
going through and
You can't. They paid for it.
I don't think you can, yeah.
Mhm.
But I've just been flagging them for being underage.
Okay. I'm gonna report those videos, and they send back a report that says they didn't do anything about it. So maybe I'll try that one.
Yeah,
Bobber is
'cause
the
I'm
hero we need but don't deserve, man. I'm telling you.
It didn't start until I made like a meme thing where I was like, is this RMT? Let me drop all my stuff for this player's cab and disconnect, you know? But yeah, I don't know. The whole RMT thing, I just don't know. I don't think it's going anywhere. You know, as long as the game is the way that it is.
It's not.
It's just just kind of part of it.
Yeah. No, that's the way it is. That's kind of the way of the world. Vel, what do you think about RMT? Not the game itself, just the practice of RMT.
I think that it sucks, but it's never going to be fixed because people are going to buy RMT. So, all the measures that they have done to remove RMT, dropping keys, dropping sick cases, dropping red rebels, all that kind of stuff, right? You still see people getting those from RMT because the cheater can see where those are at, right? So they still, hey, I found one. Here, buy this. You still get it. I think Tig, like I said, Tig said it the other day. All the measures that they have taken to like combat RMT is just making it worse for us. Like for people that play every single day, we're seeing more cheaters, we're seeing more rage hackers, and it's making the game worse because also there's no loot. Mm-hmm. So the RMT, in my opinion, like if they reverted it back to what it was and just kind of let people do their thing, like if they catch a cheater, they catch a cheater. You know what I mean? Like it's just, I don't know. I think it sucks, but it's always going to be there. All of that stuff is going to be there no matter what. I mean, how are they going to fix it?
Feels like slapping a Band-Aid on like an open festering wound.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a gushing wound that like is never going to stop. Like
no, we need to stop the bleed. Totally. We can't just keep slapping Band-Aids on it. And it's like RMT is this thing sitting up here when, it's gushing from down here and we just keep trying to deal with it up here in the game. It's just, if they can't stop the cheaters, then you can't stop RMT.
What they're doing though is they're making it harder for people to enjoy the game because of the bull crap with cheaters. And that's the thing, is like, like I'm going back to what people are saying, is that the game used to be fun where you used to be able to get all the loot, right? But then they took away, like they're taking away all the rare loot, like all the loot in the rooms were getting taken away because cheaters are just taking it out of the room. So now all of us, so now all of us where like med room on Ultra Med. When's the last time you went to Ultra Med and got a LEDX out of it?
Trash.
I don't think in 2 wipes
3 times.
You're lucky. You're lucky.
I found more LEDXs outside in the shelf of Ultramed than in Ultramed.
I will say that up until this wipe, though, it had been ages.
Well, and I really feel like they need to they need to sit back, they need to step back and go, you know what, damn. We're really revolving this whole game around RMT and cheats and stuff like that. And if they don't stop what they're doing, it's just going to run the game into the ground, in my opinion.
I agree. And then the next question becomes, how much of a dent are they actually putting into the RMT market? So I'll give you an example. I ran a Google search. I've got 2 pages up here. 13 million rubles is $19.50. All 6 labs cards, $128 right now. So what's happening is by making this loot rare, it's driving up the value of the item. So RMTers are making quite a bit of money. Like, for example, 6 labs key cards for $128. In some countries, $128 will pay your salary for 2 months, right? So if you can, okay, maybe not 2 months, maybe like a month. But my point is that there's still the incentive to cheat. People are always going to want to cheat. People are always going to want to cut corners, save time, pay for RMT. The real concern here is the random banning of people where, like, if you've been associated with somebody who's RMTing but you don't know, then you get caught up in the mix and then your account gets a 60-day ban. Like, us as broadcasters, we play with chat, we are liable to get banned at damn near any time. So, how effective is it ultimately? I don't know, but I can tell you as a big experience on the player base, not being able to drop keys, not being able to drop high-value items, not everything just disappearing into the ether when you drop it. This really kind of kills the community vibe of like helping your friends out. I used to drop sick cases to new players. You know what I mean? Like, and they totally killed that. And I don't know, like their witch hunt for RMTers is not gonna. It's like somebody said this earlier in chat, which was it's the war on drugs. It's pointless because you're never gonna fully stamp it out. I now we've got this kind of like look over your shoulder, be careful who you're pairing with thing going on with RMT in the game, and it's It's concerning, man. It's concerning, especially considering they've implemented anti-cheat systems before that have led to false bans. And I'm just concerned with, in my opinion, if somebody innocent's going to get banned, then we need to scrap the whole thing until we can figure out a way to make it foolproof. But I don't think that they're actually making. I mean, look right now, Google search, buy EFT rubles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 websites, 8 websites. There's still plenty of suppliers. Now, I don't know on the back end how many of these are getting banned, so I don't know if we'll ever have a full picture of what's going on in the RMT space, but I can tell you that RMT is still alive and well for the Tarkov player market.
I think that BSG could do a few things. There could be like so much more clarification on like the way that they have things worded, and their TOS and their rules and everything else is just like open to interpretation. Like, here you go, have fun. It's just like the game, so it makes sense to me that that's how their rules and regulations are. It's like, go have fun. Hope you can figure out how to heal. Like, you know,
Yeah.
like once you get a bleed,
Yeah.
like,
Figure out our TOS.
But like, as far as like it goes with the RMT stuff and like, and the whole thing is just really aggravating. It's very frustrating with the false bans and everything else, and like,
and it's not doing Battlestate any favors either. Like,
No,
we all
not
want
at
the game
all.
to do well. We want people to be happy about the game. We want there to be positive hype around the game. And we had so much positive hype with the balance changes, and then this happened, and all the drama, with certain content creators, and I think it's done some damage to Battlestate. Now, I just want to see them do well. So.
Yeah, it almost makes it feel like it hurt that much more, because it was like they took that huge step forward, listening to the community overall, or at least feeling like they were listening to the community overall,
Right.
in making changes and stuff, and then just
lit that on fire,
exactly.
right, with the drum after. Yeah.
Yep.
Some of the things too, like if they could make themselves like look better, like if they took into account their just how things look from an outside perspective, when you have these account sales every so often, and it's like, hey, listen, you know what? Instead of buying this one account at a discounted price, buy 8 accounts, and we're gonna give you an even bigger discount. Like, why are people buying 8 accounts?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, or why is that?
Yeah,
being
I never really
understand.
I don't understand that.
Yeah, why there's a. Well, so they'll say it's because they want you to play the game with your squad. So it's like, hey, buy it for you and 4 of your boys. And then I've on TikTok, dude, in the comments, I've seen so many times the theory floated that it's to help like cheat resellers. Nikita made an official statement to this where he said, like, to the people that say this, I just say fuck you. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
It was it was like a mic drop moment, right? I mean, look, dude. There's no proof as far as I'm concerned to indicate that that's what's happening. It's a plausible theory. It makes logical sense. I get the train of thought. I don't know, man. Maybe they who knows? Maybe Battlestate's selling to cheaters, or maybe they just want you and your buddies to buy a copy for all your friends and play together.
They could be making money off the cheats too. You never know. Like, they could be making money both ways.
Triple dipping.
I don't. Yeah. They're not.
Yeah,
they're not.
I don't. Yeah.
They're not making money off the cheats like directly, and they're not thinking of it that way. Nikita's also said, like, we don't want cheaters to be invested in the game. We want to make sure it's like that. But what's happening is, I have, for instance, multiple friends that have gone to sleep, wake up that their account was hacked, and then they're banned the next day. Mm-hmm. And it's like, Dad, like, you played WoW before. How many times have you ever been hacked on WoW where somebody would like hack your account, delete all your gear, take all your gold, disenchant all your gear, and then you would be left with a naked guy, or they would delete it, and then you would like reach out to Battle.net and be like, hey, this has happened. They would give you all your gold back. They would give you all your gear back as gear, and then give you the shards that you got from the guy disenchanting all your gear. So you would like make more money because this guy, you know what I mean? But Battle.net doesn't do that. They're just like, yeah, fuck you, bye. And then you're like, well, shit. what do I do? Do I need to go buy another account? Like, I want to play Tarkov. I love Tarkov. There should be a system in play where if it's your first ever offense, your account should have, like, obviously they should see it where it's like, this person's never been banned. This person has never gotten in trouble. They've never done anything bad. So if they got banned, we should just, here's your one chance. But they don't do that. It's just like, hey, fuck you, bye. You're gone. That's it. Which sucks.
No recourse,
because $150 is a lot of money to a lot of people right now because everybody is struggling. Not everybody is doing really well right now. So when somebody goes, I really want to play Tarkov, this is a really cool game. And then when they get banned for $150 account, they're going to be like, fuck this game. This game sucks. I'll never play this again. And that guy's gone.
Oh, yeah.
And then he's gonna tell all their friends, yeah, fuck this game. They banned me. They banned me for my $150 account. Don't ever play this game. This game sucks. And then it's just a ripple effect. So
I was just gonna say, Valiant, $150. What's that, like a bag of groceries today?
Shit, not even. That's like a half a bag of groceries.
It's like 2 bags of chicken tendies.
It's stuff like that. When people look at it, people save up. I mean, there's people in my chat that don't have the game, and they're like, "Dude, I'm just been saving my money to get Tarkov. I really want to play it. I love watching you play it. I really want to save my money." And then they get it, and like obviously they get it, and they play and they have a good time. But like I can only imagine that person that sits there and is like budgeting their money every month to buy a game that they're like, oh my god, this is amazing. They're like in love with, and then they get banned over something stupid. Like you know how I would be crushed as a person, and it would kill me if that happened to me. I would just be like, dude, this sucks. Like, I saved my money for 5 months to get banned over what? You know what I mean? So I wish I could reach out to somebody at Battle Line, just like, there should be like a chance system. You get one chance, that's it. One strike, you're out. Or like, well, that'd be what, a 2-strike rule?
There shouldn't be a legitimate appeal system in place.
Agreed.
And 3, 7, 14-day, and then 60-day bans. So you're not just smacked with the 60.
I think it should be like this. If you get banned, and there was cheats used on your account, right? You get banned. You appeal it, and they go, okay, you have this reasoning, and then you get your account back, and then if it happens again, they permaban you. You're just gone. It's just like that to me should be it, because then it goes, okay, well, the first one, maybe you messed up and you didn't have your 2-factor authentication on, so we're going to give you another chance. Well, then if it happens again, first off, it's your fault that you didn't have 2-factor authentication on. Authentication? I said that wrong. Or you're cheating on your account and you got it back just to cheat again. So, whatever. It's, I just feel like there should be a chance for people, because that's not, spending that much money. What other games are out there $150? Does anybody off the top of their head know of a game worth $150?
No.
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen.
Star Citizen, yep.
But I mean, and they've got kind of the same problem, but their dev team is way more communicates with them as to what they're working on and what they're trying to do with the game, and acknowledges that, their game has issues. So here's the thing. I personally don't care if you RMT, whether you're the person farming stuff in the game or you buying it online. Do I like buying it online? No, I think you're like, come on, like, why? Don't do that.
Right.
That's stupid.
Right.
But does it affect me as a player if you buy 5 slicks online, but you can't hit the broadside of a barn? It ends up being like free slicks for me. You know what I mean? Like,
you're losing the gear anyways.
You bought me loot. Thanks. Yeah.
Thanks.
I think I talked about that yesterday. You pay a guy to go into a raid, right? To get you gear. The same guy the next day kills you, and you lose all the gear you got anyways. Right. So he takes it back anyway. So you just paid for a service that's just stupid. But like all the people that pay for shit, it's just like, who cares? Wow, some guy buys a red key card. What, he's gonna go into labs and live against 17 cheaters that's gonna be in there? Or the 4 giga chads that are just going to shit down this guy's throat.
Right.
When is he ever going to use the red key card? So like,
who cares? Right. He's not affecting the RMT is not affecting the game as much as at all. It's not really affecting at all. You buy your key card, you get your quest items because you want to progress in the game. Great. Does it really affect anybody in the player base? No. If you're farming stuff legitimately and doing real life trades, say you had a Discord and you found a red card in Shoreline and you're like, I'm going to sell it for real money, and you go into your RMT Discord and you're like, I'll drop it for you and I'll sell it to you in the market, or back in the day it was drop it for you in Raid for $40, right? Does that affect anybody in the player base? No. It doesn't affect anybody at all. The only thing that I do have a problem with is if you're cheating to RMT to make a living, then the cheater should be banned. RMT people aren't a huge problem. The cheating is the problem, and they don't know how to deal with cheaters, so they're like, well, we'll go after RMT. I'm so sick of like the RMT thing. Oh, RMT. I don't care. Every game has RMT. Every game that has some sort of like loot system or leveling, somebody's doing RMT. League of Legends. You can buy a League of Legends account that somebody else boosted to max level so you could get all the stuff. World of Warcraft, you used to be able, now you can buy characters that are fully leveled up. Back in the day, you used to go to some shitty website and buy an account that was level up to max level, and then you could pay extra if you wanted extra gear. You know, you could I could go farm my own gold, and if I had a ton of gold on WoW, and sell it to one of those RMT sites, and they'd be like, yeah, we'll give you $50 per whatever 1,000 gold that you said. I don't care. It doesn't affect. If I earned it legitimately, I spent 8 hours farming stuff, and I want to sell it, or somebody wants to sell it, yeah, whatever. F it. Go ahead. I don't care.
Right.
Now, if you're cheating and screwing everybody else's game over by getting an unfair advantage to do the same thing, I do have a problem with that. But other than that, I don't care if you sell stuff. If you earned it, sell it. Do whatever you want with it. I don't care.
I don't give a shit, by the way. And maybe it's because I'm a streamer, and this is my point of view. I don't give a shit if chat comes in and drops another streamer the best gear, like the whole like vibing thing where he, there's a screenshot of him floating around with 4 slicks, shitloads of BP, shitloads of top tier ammo. That doesn't bother me at all. I don't care. I like viewer kits because it gives chat the opportunity to give you a kit, interact with you, and then get content out of it. Like, we grind the shit out of the game. We could get all of that shit legit. Like, it's not a problem. So apparently, that bothered somebody at Battle State, and there's a whole thing going on with that. But for me personally, I don't give a damn. How do you guys feel about viewer kits? Now they're gone. You're not taking them anymore, are you?
I love viewer kits. They're like, and it's not, I have 50 million rubles. I don't give a shit. Usually what I do with my community is I go until I get Kappa, and I do not allow anybody to give me viewer kits because I want people to play in the beginning of Wipe and do their own thing, and worry about them, not me. I can get there. Once I get to Kappa, I do viewer kit Mondays where people will bring me either their favorite kit or their favorite, a meme kit or whatever. And I can't do that no more because RMT ban. So, it was fun because it was like somebody would, bring in a kit that they don't want to bring out because they are, gear fear or whatever. And they're like, you know what? I have this kit. It's been sitting in my inventory for a while. Let me bring it to Velian and see what he does. And then I get like 7 PMC kills. And then what I do is I take that and post it on YouTube. And it's like, it makes people's day. They're like, oh my God, this was my viewer kit. I brought that into you and you absolutely destroyed the lobby. And now I can't do that. And, because, in fear of I'm going to get banned in a 60-day ban and then reset my account to level 1. Like, or
the guilty by association thing is ridiculous too.
Queuing in with somebody.
Yeah, that's scary.
Looking over your back. Right.
Well, great. But Tarkov has a system where you can randomly queue with anybody if you enter the system, right? If you say, "Hi, I'm looking for a group," anybody could invite you. So their own system where they can invite you. Now you can, this person invited you. Clearly, this person's a cheater. You had to know you're RMTing. We're banning you for 60 days. Like, what?
Yeah, I've heard people say it as a joke that, hey, people in these Discords now are just going to join up on a bunch of streamers and drop them kits.
Well, that's what happened with.
But that could happen.
That's what happened with what's his name? Quattro. I think it's Quattro Ace. Yeah. Quattro bought a black key card that a guy bought off of an RMT service, and Quattro got a 60-day ban, and they reset his account.
Giving it. Yeah. As for the One Pig video, Quattro got a free black key card from one of his viewers. Found out the viewer did it through RMT. Messaged the BSG employee. Right. He deleted it. Said, "Hey, are we cool?" No communication from the BSG dev, and then his account got banned for 60 days. And it's like, it's just not a good look for you as a company, especially when that's the story and there's no communication. It's like, we really do, especially with some of the more prolific named influencers. I understand everybody should have a fair shot, but like when you have somebody who's a huge audience and they see this go down, their audience is going to be affected. That's why they call us influencers, right? Their audience is going to be affected by this. And what I want is good, positive PR for Battle State. I want everybody to be hype about playing the game. I want the game to do well. So it's like, my concern is this new system, if they don't start talking to us more, right? I understand that they need to keep it ambiguous as far as like a specific amount so they can keep on pace with their goals, but we need to know where the red line is.
Right.
I agree. And I will say this, for anybody that is watching, don't like bully people. There's a lot of people that are like giving people crap, like emissaries and what do they call them? Freaking Sherpas, like giving them crap for no reason.
Right.
Where this is all BSG's doing and nobody else's.
Yeah. Definitely. Don't go toxically, pushing after them. If you're really upset by the game, stop raging about it on the internet. Take a break from it. Come back in a little while if you think the game's done better, but don't go out there and harass people, man. Especially not the BSG devs and the team and all of them. It's a fallout. It is what it is. There's clearly a disagreement between the BSG leadership and several influencers. That is what that is. But at the end of the day, man, if you're not having a good time, go play something else.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think that's obviously a big thing too. Like, irregardless of the RMT thing, which it's ridiculous. Like, don't play the game. Like, I have a second account, so I could play Tarkov of Boy Life, right? And here's the funny thing about RMT, if we want to talk about it.
Look at this absolute
daddy.
Is
say it.
If you're playing with people, like if I'm playing with my son, or if I'm playing with anybody, I'm playing with a friend, I'm playing with anybody, right?
Daddy.
If it's IRL, do I want you to go in with a knife? Or if I have a bunch of extra guns and we're in the zombie apocalypse, am I going to equip you with some guns so you have my back?
Right.
I'm going to equip you with the best of what I got because I want to make sure that we survive together.
Right.
And there's, we can learn a lesson and stuff too, but like, if I'm going to go in with Boy Life and we're going to go run some raids, I might give him some good gear so we can make sure we get it through the raid because, like, IRL, hypothetical, it's father-son. I don't leave here, son, good luck. We'll see if you make it out of here. No, I want my kid to survive, right? Yeah. Uh-huh. I mean, if we're going to talk about, true to real life, you don't show up. You don't show up to a battle and there goes, hey, did you bring your own gun? And they have a big pile of guns right next to you. They're like, did you bring one? You're like, no, well, thanks for showing up. We got to go out there in the field, but you can't touch that big pile of guns that we've got in my case right here. You can't touch those because you didn't find it yourself. Like, that's so stupid. Dropping kits or dropping items or whatever. Like, this is so dumb. I
know we were talking about RMT and stuff right now, but I want to say, all of this is all speculation. It's all
we don't know what people got banned for.
We don't know what's happening on the back end.
Anybody has gotten banned. And
correct,
I know we're just
correct.
I don't want people to like I don't know if you post this on YouTube or not, but watch this and be like, oh my god, these guys are talking bad about the people that got banned. No one in this community has any idea of why anybody has been banned at all, and we're just kind of talking about it.
Right.
And the people are just spewing random things out that they have no clue about.
Yeah. Overall, we do know that they've made changes to the game to combat RMT. Mm-hmm. They have made changes in the past year with items and stuff that they've come straight out and said, we're changing this when they had that patch, it was like the anti-RMT patch, and they've had like a podcast before it. And it was like, RMT, big problem. A lot of the cheaters are RMTing, so we're gonna get rid of all these items that they're RMTing.
Right.
And that's going to help the cheaters. And it's not going to affect you guys that much, but you got to work with us because this is going to help the cheater situation. That happened, 9 months ago?
Yeah, and then we walked into more rage cheaters.
Right. So, even though we don't know why these particular people got banned, I think right now, I don't care. The people got banned. My biggest thing is they should get communicated as to why they got banned. It's like it's like me punishing Boy Life because he did something he's not supposed to do and then not telling him and expect him not to do it again.
Yeah. Right.
That's silly.
And that's something where I want to make sure that we talk. So we explain the full story with Vibe, and just TLDR, when he inquired as to why he was banned, he wasn't given an answer. The screenshot of him floating around with all of that gear, you think it's RMT, but literally the answer that he was given was it's not RMT. We're not going to talk about it. Well, I don't know Vibe personally, but I know that I don't know what's going on. We don't know. We're taking guesses as to what's happening, and that's the issue. I think the correct behavior here is to say you were banned for this,
Agreed.
and this is what it is, and we're sticking to it. And wait your 60 days, and hate us or love us, this is what we're doing. But instead, we're getting just ambiguous. No, we banned you. We didn't ban you for that. We don't have to tell you what we banned you for. 60-day ban. Have fun. And by the way, you're kicked out of the Discord. That's why people are upset. If they just said, "Yo, this is the true reason why we're sticking with our decision. Hate us or love us, it is what it is." I respect that.
I don't think anybody would be upset either.
Correct. It would be better PR.
I think the people that would been banned or got banned would be upset.
Right.
But the people that are speaking out wouldn't be mad. They'd be like, okay, this guy got banned for
Yeah, for a legitimate reason. Like, he broke terms of service that are clear and written down.
Right.
And then he broke terms of service.
Okay, with a raise of hands, who sits here and and reads all the TOS?
With my lawyer. No, I'm just kidding.
Has any of you sat there and read TOS?
No,
ever?
Fuck no. Just scroll down and hit accept.
I've ever read TOS on a game ever in my life.
I agree. Let me play.
I want to play the same game. Got the paperwork because he had actual papers. I was like, shit, he's got actual papers.
This is the issue is outside of this, people are up in arms and more aware of it now because influencers are, losing their livelihood or accounts and stuff over it. But I get it. And somebody else said, well, not all of these games, like EA doesn't tell you why you got banned on Apex, which they do. If you appeal it, they'll tell you why you got banned, because I got banned wrongly, and they didn't reinstate it, and then 3 months later, they just randomly reinstated it and didn't even tell me. I logged on one day, and my Apex account was back. I was like, okay, crazy. But that's a free game. You can make an account for free. If I pay for a game, there should be some sort of common courtesy, which there has been. I've run into issues on games before. Val brought up Blizzard getting hacked and reaching out to the company and be like, look, my account got hacked, and they work with you. You pay for that game. If I pay for that game, they have a customer service department that I don't think you can call. You used to be able to call. Now I'm sure it's a chat, just like everything else. But
they have a thing now where you can send I do it all the time. You send in your number, and then somebody calls you, and then you can talk with people.
Yeah, right.
Which is cool.
If I pay for a game, all I want is give me some sort of customer service. How hard is that? I know we everybody has this big skeptical thing, and I'm not gonna go super into it, but I did some research recently where it's well, maybe Battlestate doesn't have enough money to have a big PR team or whatever, or we don't know what's going on. Listen, I'm going to tell you right now, 198,000% Battlestate has plenty of money.
How much money did they make last year?
How much money?
Docs. You want the gross?
Yeah, give us gross.
$71 million.
71 million. Yeah.
How much profit though?
Well, you can't. It's hard to tell the profit because they do what every corporation does. And one, they didn't itemize their stuff correctly. So you can't really see the itemization of how it went. They like wrote a bunch of stuff off to a consulting company, which was also probably owned by somebody from BSG or Battlestate themselves. So there's no way they didn't turn a ginormous profit last year.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, it's like Amazon. Amazon doesn't pay taxes, right? BSG did their things, they didn't have to pay taxes. Now, if they were a publicly traded company and they had to show their profits and do their like dividends and stuff, then we would see that profit a little bit more, but then they would hide it with other things like loss. That's how the corporate game works. You show enough loss, whether it's however you do it. That's why Amazon has a bunch of companies, Google has a bunch of companies, Microsoft, they own all these companies so they can like, I acquired a company, so I took a loss this year, you know? Ooh, we hired a PR company for Battlestate. We all wish that was a joke. But they'd be like, oh, that company costs us $50 million. You know, hypothetically, like that's kind of how it would work, you know? So that was their gross, you know? And you guys can go look it up. You can go look it up. It's because they're technically based out of UK. If you look up the search. UK filings for 2022, you guys can go see it and interpret it how you want. There's a big document in there. And, you know, it said certain things and, you know, part of the document was kind of like, well, this doesn't really show good itemization, you know, and then it had like a thing talking about currency exchange as well, which currency exchange and taxes, you know, who knows what goes on there. So they have money. They have money to do things. You know, they have money to hire more devs. They have money to hire a real, like, somebody with a PR degree that could do their management, you know, for as a community manager. But I mean, they could go out and search for somebody to do those things and at least present the company to, you know, the users in a lot better front. You know what I mean?
Do you remember when Clean was the PR rep? Because you have to be an old school Tarkov player to remember when Clean was the PR rep.
I remember when Clean was officially the PR rep, or was he kind of took it upon himself? I felt like he took it upon himself.
No, I
to a certain extent.
Official. I'm pretty sure he was official. And then everybody. So basically, what happened is every time there was a missed patch date or rage around the game, it was all directed at Clean, and that's why there's Fire Clean Gun Lube, right? So hashtag Fire Clean. Do you remember that on Reddit? It was a brigade. Mm-hmm. Fire Clean, dog shit, blah 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 blah. And so they just made it a meme and ran with it. And yeah, my point is, anybody who's a PR rep, I wish you the best of luck in being a PR rep, because there's a lot. I deal with this in my TikTok comments, man, all the time. Of just like there's a section of the community that is just not going to come back to the feeling favorable about Battlestate, that is just committed to 100%
hating them,
just dogging the game, trashing the game, being just terrible about the game. And they've just made up their mind that's how they're going to do it. And that PR rep has got to sit there with a straight face and deal with those guys. So I just hope that they pay that PR rep well if they do hire one. And I agree, we need one. Yeah. We need all of the info on one place, not scattered across Discords and Twitter, you know, but
right. It needs to be one place. It needs to be on their forum or whatever. They should have a patch notes section, which is just like, instead of going to their forum, it should just be somewhere on their website where it's
it's like one peg
Battlestate News.
They're the one with the reach. They're the one with the reach.
Right.
Yeah.
Everyone
put it in the game.
Right. And I do think somebody in chat just mentioned that Clean was like a liaison. I think he was a liaison or contractor to help them like facilitate certain things with US companies and stuff like that. I don't know if he was, I don't think he was a community manager, but I think he took it upon himself as like a promoter of the game and an enjoyer of the game to give out that information. But yeah, I mean, there's a million different ways to skin that. And I think lack of communication is a huge issue. There's some companies that are great at it. There's some companies that are terrible at it. But I think like majority of, I would say Battlestate isn't a AAA company, but I would say that their game is huge. Escape from Tarkov is a very large game at this point. You know, you can see by how many people are watching it during drops and even on a regular basis. Yesterday 40,000 people were watching it. That's a significant game. More people are watching Tarkov than some of the lesser AAA game titles, And companies like Riot and Activision and / Blizzard, like they are really good about it, like being like, hey, we're making these changes, or we see what the community wants, we're gonna try to do these things, or we know something's broken, we're working on it. And like that's it. Sometimes they're like, we don't know when we're gonna have it done, but we are working on it and we're aware. Hell, that would be better than nothing. Or we've tried this and we've decided we don't think it's going to work, so it's going to be a little bit longer and we're going to try something else. Or even like some of the companies like Cyberpunk, right? That game came out and was trash can. And the company at least came out and admitted, like, hey, we were rushed, we released it anyway, it was a trash can, we're going to do everything we can to fix it. If
Cyberpunk can do it, BSG can do it.
Right. Yeah, of course. Halo, on the other hand. But I mean, I think that there's plenty of room to go out there and just communicate with people and not make everything a mystery. I think too many things in the game are a mystery, and I think just around the game, like you'll see what happens when it comes out. Like, like
you have to go
that gets old after a while.
TarkovChanges.com to get some of the info on the things that are being changed on the game. Which is a third-party site ran by Logical. It's very helpful.
Right.
But so here's, I just want to say this: they are better communicating now than they were years ago. They used to go like 4 or 5 months. I swear they wouldn't say a word, nothing. It was radio silence. And we were just left to guess as to what their next intentions were. I want them to bring back Tarkov TVs. Like, can we get like a monthly Tarkov TV? Is that too much to ask for? One monthly Tarkov TV. That's an hour and a half long, and we just talk about what they're doing and what they want to do, and then like address, criticism and feedback in a respectful way, and then we all move on for it. But I know that there's a certain population of minority of people that are going to just, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, trash, game's ass, you suck. It's the way it is. And I just think that maybe that's why they don't do it. They don't want to have to deal with that whole nonsense. But,
that's part of running a business. You always hear from the 5% that are the loudest that are unhappy. 95% of the people are usually content. It's the 5%.
They're in our TikTok comments.
Unhappy with the loudest mouths. Yeah, we all deal with it. Just tune it out. Tune it out. But when the rest of your community that tries to support you, and uniformly, when we talk about like the recoil change, that was a great change.
Right.
It was like they listened to the community and they were like, look, we realize this is bad. And even now, I still don't think it's great. I don't think it's great. There's things like if I point fire with a bunch of the guns, they hold a better pattern than when ADS. It makes no sense. So the recoil, they put a Band-Aid on that system, but it was a good Band-Aid. I would love to see them even make subtle changes like that. Make subtle changes in the right direction. Cheaters are going to be there. They need to figure out anti-cheat. Changing the game and basing it around cheaters, isn't it?
Agreed.
How many people have run into... I know Bobber's going to be like, I don't run into cheaters. But how often... What percentage of raids do you think you've run into cheaters?
It's not that often. It might be maybe 1 in every 15 raids. I mean... The thing is, well, okay, so blatant cheaters, I had the one that, I guess, Trey, that, like, Stream Snipes Trey.
Yeah.
I invited him to my stream yesterday because I was trying to find SVDs. And he goes, well, this guy came to my stream and he was like, I can help you find them. And I was like, okay, whatever, come in. And he was literally spin botting around the map, killing everybody.
Yikes.
Yeah.
And like he spin botted towards me and I tried to kill him. And I haven't been banned yet, so thank God for that. But, I didn't know. And, that's the first actual spin botter that I've ever seen. But, I say this all the time, is if they got rid of the desync in this game, there would be so many less cheater accusations.
Yeah.
Because the desync makes it look like cheats. I can't tell you how many times somebody... Okay, we all know about the left-hand peak and right-hand peaks, right?
Yeah.
Like the difference of both of them.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times a level 14 or 15 white account, and obviously white account and whatever, doesn't really matter, will full blown, like I'll be holding an angle and the dude will just literally full left swing me, insta tap me in the face. And it goes, what? I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's the fishiest thing ever, because if anybody knows this game and plays this game knows, pushing a left-hand peek like that is sus. Like, you're not going to be able to hit that shot because I'm going to see you before that. But then I get one tapped in the face. I'm like, fuck. Was it desync on his side? And then I got fucked? Or, like, what is happening right now? So you don't know if it was cheats, if it was desync, or who knows?
I do remember. It's funny because Moosh in chat just said there's so many more kills that are gray area now than ever before.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that is a problem. I do remember, like, when I used to lose fights, it was really easy sometimes to, like, almost every fight was just like, oh, GG, that guy got me, And now it's just like, and like, sometimes, like, they'll come to, like, my chat and they'll be like, yo, GG's. And then, like, sometimes I'll be like, yeah, GG, I didn't even see you come through the doorway. They'll be like, I did, and you were kind of just sitting there like a bot for 2 seconds as I blasted you, and you're like, I guess, I mean, it's GG's for you, but, like...
That's decent.
I don't...
That right there is decent.
That's decent. But like, as soon as you die, you're like, I died to a cheater. Yeah. And then they're like, they come in and they say it, they see it, or you, like, watch it back and you, like, see, like, the gun start to peek through and they shooting at you. I was watching a clip back yesterday, or this morning, of me shooting a guy that was walking up the stairs, and on my screen, I was lacing him up, and he had aim punch, and his gun was shooting the roof, and then I died. And I went back and watched it in slow motion, and you can see all my bullet impacts hitting this guy, and his gun, it was putting holes in the ceiling on my screen, and then it wasn't like he head-eyes me either. He, like, laced the living snot out of me, like, on every limb, like, blacked out 3 limbs and killed me because of it. So he was on his screen, he was doing the same thing that I saw on my screen, except BSG was like, his latency's either worse or better, however that works out, and he won the fight. And that's one of those things where you're like, ugh, I don't want to play the game.
Yeah, I agree. Do you know who Missile Man is? I think it's Missile Man. He's like an EU streamer. Well, I ran into him and one of his buddies, and they had like 170 ping, and they peeked the corner. And for me, okay, so you know where the bed is on custom, second floor, third story, where like the bed is, and then like so I'm holding the angle, looking down to elbow, or whatever it's called, and this guy walks up, left peeks me, teleports around the corner, and insta one taps me in the face. And I'm not talking about like, oh, Vel, maybe he was just like, running and then kind of slid or whatever. The dude popped in front of my screen and insta tapped me in the face. And I was like, that guy's fucking cheating. And then like I had like 5 or 6 people coming to my chat like, no, dude, he's not cheating. He just has 180 ping. It's like, oh, so he just teleported on my screen. So it's like, if imagine anybody that's not a streamer that knows other streamers or is streaming, they're just going to see a guy teleport in front of their screen and then die. And they're like, this game's fucking filled with cheaters. I don't want to play it anymore.
Yeah.
So my sentiment is that I have to not only question my debts, but I have to question my victories as well. Like, did that guy even see me? Like, was that a fair fight at all? Like, God, like that looked cool as hell on my screen, but what'd that look like on his?
Right. Was I invisible to that guy?
That is
that's another thing is, was I invisible? So the invisible bug, how often are you guys running into it?
100% the other day. I shot a guy. I peeked a corner. There was a geared PMC standing. I shot him in the head. He moved a little bit. I shot him in the head again, and he fell over and died. I'm like, okay, I was invisible.
Invisible bug has been around for a long time. I will say that. I remember when I first started playing the game, I ran into it.
So
not
I have
as
a Reddit
bad
post.
as it is now.
Right.
Yeah, no, not nearly.
Exactly.
I had a Reddit post from 2 years ago that shows me and this nice lady named Linskull, and we're playing together. This guy is blasting music full bore. We don't see him. Moses both down in Resort. And so the game, it's been in the game for a while, but it's like people figured out how to exploit it or something to make it happen more often. I will just say, I had a Streets run where I literally had to Alt F4. My buddy had to Alt F4 because he was invisible on my screen. I couldn't even see him. He could see me.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping that this new patch addresses this, and that's basically how I feel about it.
Yeah.
Almost every raid today on Interchange, one of us was invisible.
Is it certain maps for you guys, or is it every map? Because I don't know why, but every time I go on Interchange with Jesse, one of us is invisible.
Interchange is bad for it, I feel like. Nixia did a poll on it. I don't know what the results were, but she was trying to narrow down certain maps people were seeing it more on, and I feel like Interchange was the top one.
I think Interchange is like bad for some reason.
Yep, Interchange and Streets were both, I think, are the worst. I think it happens on every map, but go ahead, Bob.
I'll say this about like the whole cheating thing. I've ran into 3 actual confirmed cheaters this wipe. They were all 3 doing the floating one leg up thing.
Yikes.
And other than that, I think I've reported 2 people. And it was more for their name than it was for like the actual, like the occurrence itself was pretty sus, just because like I've been rocking face shields for a long time since I finished samples early. But yeah, like I'm like a very rare, I feel like I'm a very, very, very rare breed of player that does not report. Like if I'm reporting someone, it's like very rare.
Yeah, me too. It's hard to call, man.
Yeah, if I die, I'm just like, I don't have enough time to care. I'd go get back up, get in the next raid, because
it's just hard for me to trust what I see.
I'll tell you guys. Somebody told me yesterday that I had no clue was a thing. If you get shot in the face shield, right? So say you wear an Alton and some guy peppers you with PST-GZH, right? And then you get out of that raid, you repair that face shield, you go into the next raid and somebody shoots you in the thorax and then it hits it like collateral your helmet, you will get peppered from all of those PST-GZHs like you got hit again. So people think, somebody told me that the other day, and I'm like, holy shit, I can't tell you how many times I've been shot once, and then my whole facial gets peppered. Right. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy's fucking cheating. In all reality, it's the game being broken and not fixing the face shield when you repair it.
Right. Damage visor,
isn't that crazy?
Too. Yeah.
It works for all face shields. And I didn't know that until somebody told me literally like a week ago.
So are the cracks actually where you're shot, or the cracks based off the durability of the shield?
No, it's supposedly the cracks from the bullets before. So once you repair it and fix it, and then you get hit again and it hits, it'll pepper all of it again.
And it looks like straight cheats because it looks like you just got shot in the head 5 times.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
Well, maybe I feel bad about those 2 extra reports.
Oh, you just got somebody banned. You got blood on your hands.
It's so hard to tell. I mean, what are you supposed to do? You just do what you think is right. I mean, it's
right. Yep. I agree.
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, the invisibility bug, frustrating. It took them this long to fix it. Don't know why. Whatever. Maybe it's a huge conflict. Maybe they couldn't figure out which file folder it was in because there was a big stack of papers on top of their file desk where it wasn't easily fixable. Yeah, I mean, I really think that's part of the problem. You know?
You feel like you run into more cheaters with TV in your name? Or do you guys rock your own names? I don't rock my own name.
I rock Streets Chad TTV.
Yeah, I don't think that I run into cheaters because of that. I've run into I've run into a fair amount of cheaters. Now, am I running into absorbent amounts of cheaters? No. When I started playing the game, the first wipe that Reserve came out, that's when the cheaters were their worst. The time
on labs?
you couldn't spawn in. You go to labs or you'd spawn on Reserve, and somebody would shoot you from dome when you were like one shot you every single time. M61, if you lived 30 seconds on a reserve raid, if you didn't die within the first 30 seconds, you were good. But I would say half my raids, within 30 seconds, I'd get shot in the head from who knows where, never heard the shot. They were across the map, shot me in the head.
Dude, labs, I remember that. You would spawn in, and the first thing I would do was I would sit there for like 10 seconds. And if you didn't die in the first 10 seconds, you know you'd be good. Because you would have literally the guy would teleport in front of you and just one tap you in the face, or he would move at 1,000 miles an hour and he would just and then kill you and kill all your whole team, and then you'd be fucked. And dude, I could. That was so bad, dude. That was so bad.
Yeah, man. It's pretty crazy. I will say, I think the most damning cheat right now is the loot through walls. I mean, the ESP, the aiming at heads, all that stuff, all pretty annoying standard cheating stuff. But if you're paying for, Giga Chad cheats, you can essentially just walk up and loot some shit through walls, and that's game destroying. So,
yeah. Right.
I agree.
Yep. And I mean, that's also the extent too, is we don't know. There's plenty of times, and as far as cheaters are concerned, is where we really don't know. Just because I didn't get head eyes by somebody didn't mean there wasn't 3 people in my lobby that are cheating. To some extent. Well, are people using ESP and they know where the loot is and they're running there for it? And they're not using aimbot because they think that if I know where the loot is, but I don't aimbot people, I'll never get caught. I have no idea.
I mean, it's, I'm very suspicious of a lot of things. I had a guy, whether or not he was cheating or not, I don't know, but it was sus, right? I was in the very far back of Big Gray on Woods, in like a dark corner, and this guy peeks the front side of Big Gray, comes up like where Violet spawns, hit me 4 shots with an M4 with 8.56A1. Tell me which one of you could hit every single shot, only stomach, with 8.56A1 from 40 meters away and only hit the stomach.
No.
How many times have you used the M4 and it skyrockets to the roof?
Mm.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and the recoil of the M4 has been crazy for a while.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have a question. Remember when this was a long time ago they did this, when people were using the M1A and they were using macros.
Oh my god, yep.
And they were running the M1A and it was like an auto M1A, but there was like 7 shot. Then they put the fix in where it was like it could only, after 7 shots, it would like stop shooting their gun. That was how they tried to counteract it.
Yeah, Sacriel did it, right? And there was a huge like blow up thing. This is like the days of like 2018 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And Sacriel did it, Sacriel did a flea market macro and brought attention to it. And then of course here comes the pitchforks. But yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if, especially with the way that macros work now, if people are using macros again.
You can't stop it. What are you gonna do? You're gonna ban my Logitech software? Like, you're not. You're just not.
Right. I think that's happening a lot because the recoil and auto versus semi-auto, even on an M4, again, you, for whatever reason, with the way recoil works now in the game, after that first shot, you have that huge jump on your gun, is where if you have it in semi-auto, you don't. So how many people are using like a macro on their mouse and just running their semi-auto guns as full auto and semi-auto because it gives a better recoil pattern? I'm curious because I know that's a thing that people do on Call of Duty. That's a big thing. Like, you see a lot of these content creators like, check out my build. It's got no recoil. And you're like, yeah, it's because you're macroing it. Because like, I build the same build, and I'm like, my build doesn't look like that, guys. And it's like, well, what if we put a macro on the mouse and hit the button? Up. That's how they did it. It's like, it's crazy. Who knows if people are doing it, if they are, whatever. I mean, again, macros and turbo controllers and all that stuff's been around for how long? I mean, ever since I started PlayStation 2 is when those controllers started coming out. Or turbo controllers. Didn't they have like crazy controllers on Super Nintendo, I think, too?
I got Mad Cat's controller right
Mad Cat's, yeah.
Yeah.
Every system.
Yeah. So, I mean, invisible stuff, maybe it'll get fixed tonight. Hopefully.
Hopefully.
We pray.
Open.
Annoying.
Open.
Hope that and some sound issues. I mean, I think the sound's gotten better when they did that first fix. You know, but it's still distance.
That's supposed to be
Directional's
included in
been
that new
good.
patch.
But
Yeah.
distance is so bad sometimes. I can't tell if somebody's, you know,
Vertical.
across the
Vertical
map or
audio.
literally.
Vertical
Audio is
Oh
terrible.
my god.
Directional, like north, south, east, west, has been great. I feel like that was the only improvement from this patch. Vertical is terrible. And then distance is abysmal in certain maps or certain areas of certain maps. Sometimes it's fine on a map, and then it's like you walk 10 feet away and you're like, there's been times when I'm on like maybe like woods and I'm in lumber camp and I'm like, oh, it sounds like somebody's up by you know, Sniper Rock. And then like I walk 10 more feet and I'm like, well, actually it sounds like they're at med camp.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of that. A lot
The
of
random
that.
suppressed shots thing is weird for me too.
Oh yeah, I keep getting shot by just no sound, and I just fall over. It's like, okay, was the guy invisible, or did the guy just shoot me from 500 meters away? Like, I had a guy yesterday shoot me in the back, and he was like, "Dude, I was literally right behind you." I was like, "You must have been invisible because I just fell over and died." And I was like, "Okay, well."
I never ever mauled with this game. I have so much patience for this game, but it was day 12 out of 14 grinding 0 to 42, and I experienced the invisible bug for the first time at like 4:30 in the morning, grinding my ass off, and I just straight up just like lost my mind. I lost my shit, and that was the last time that I legitimately molded. So I can understand how normal players feel when they encounter that. It just sucks. You hear nothing, and you fall over, and you're dead.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. Like going back to what I said earlier, this is desync. When I am fighting somebody and I'm a good enough player that I know that I can beat people. I know that I can. I'm my mechanics in the game. I know like where I need to go. I know where I can rotate. But then when I jump through a door and then I get 5 feet behind a wall and I die, I'm like, holy fuck, I'm about to throw something through a wall. Like, that's the only thing that tells me. Yeah. It's the game that's fucking me. It's not me. Like, I'm playing perfect or close to perfect, and then I die to some dumb shit that the game is throwing at me, and then it's like, oh my god. You know, and then a lot of people tell me, well, don't get mad. It's just the game. And I'm like, well, that's the problem. You know, that fight was mine.
Right.
And then I died to something stupid. Win that. You know?
Yeah, I just killed 3 guys, and then I got clapped behind a wall.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it, man.
It'll be interesting if they can fix the invis bug and maybe some of the performance issues with the game. And not even necessarily desync, just give me some frames. Frames win games. We all know that. If a lot of those accusations start to go away, because there's definitely been times where I'm like, dude, I never even saw the guy who was cheating, and my teammates have been like, yeah, we saw him. He was right in front of you. Why weren't you shooting him? And he's like, oh, because he was invisible. Meanwhile, I'm over here, never heard the shots and died, and I thought I got killed by a cheater. They're like, no, you got killed by a guy that was right in front of you. We told you he was coming. I'm like, well, I never saw him. They're like, no, he was there. I'm like, oh, he was one of the invisible guys. Like, how many times that probably happened to everybody?
We need an invisible fix yesterday. Straight up. Like, it's just, and I'm looking for, because I know what's going to happen is they're probably going to fix a bunch of stuff with the coming patches, and things will go back to relatively normal, and then some controversy is going to happen again. This is how it always goes.
Right.
And the Escape from Tarkov has survived so much controversy. I'm not even going to get into some of the older stuff because there's no point in bringing it up. But this game has survived so much, and I think that I know we're headed back to good times because it's been tough for a while. So
they just need to do the thing I was saying is every single wipe. There's always a month to a month and a half of bullshit, desync, clutter, and it goes back to the dad life saying of the random files that are just thrown in there. You know, if they could fix that, where the first week or so the problem with the servers or the desync or the whatever is fixed, and I'm obviously I have no idea. I'm not a coder. I don't know any of that kind of stuff. So probably it's way harder than what I'm just saying it is. But if they could figure out how to fix that within the first week or two, you know how many people would keep playing this game and continue to play the game? You know how many people probably have already quit because of the cheaters or the invisibility shit. Like, you know what I mean? And that goes back to it is these people being invisible is literally cheats. It's not their fault that they're invisible, but the person that's dying literally thinks they're dying to a cheater. So if they're not a streamer and they don't know about this kind of stuff, they're probably just like, oh, wow, I probably died to a cheater. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
that's the thing is everybody comes back at the start of wipe. They all come back hopeful. If you could show them that their hope was warranted and make improvements at the beginning of those wipe, I feel like after 4 weeks, people have made a decision whether they're going to grind, play casual, or quit. I feel like after the 4-week mark, that's when you see the huge drop off. I mean, those first 2 weeks, everywhere you go, there's players. You can choose to fight them. You can choose to avoid them. You can get your PMC kills for your tasks, all that good stuff. Those first 2 to 3 weeks, then it starts getting a little bit right. And then I think after like 4 weeks, people have decided to just stop. And I think there's people that used to hit max traders and then just quit, too, which is about 4 weeks for a lot of people. And I think some of those people are like, got in and were like, like, great. I can't play this new map. It looks cool. I'm done.
Like, whatever. Yeah.
Right. They don't care anymore because nothing's changed. Or if anything, they've made it harder.
Which is, I don't
understand. Plan something like content wise. If they, because you have enough data now with wipes to see when player drop offs happen and when viewer counts drop. Like the player base has a significant drop at this point in time. So why don't we plan our content to release this point in time when that
3 weeks a month?
Comes, yeah. Like let's throw something out there, something new, and then it's like, there's this new excitement. The player base comes back, the viewership comes back.
Everybody's been wanting events, and they just and that's exactly like you're saying. Like at those points is when events should be happening. So they're just
ideally,
not happening.
Strategically, stop doing drops at the beginning of wipes. Because remember, they used to do drops twice a year. You'd get them in January, and then they'd do them again in July for the summer sale. Which again, July is typically right after another wipe starts. Why aren't they doing a mid-wipe when all the players are dropping off to bring them all back?
Yeah. And game events with specific things. Maybe a piece of gear you can only get during the event. That's like a just fun thing,
Yep.
Like it's like the pumpkin heads you get during Halloween, right?
Right. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. No. And I know why they don't do it because it's like New Year's and blah blah blah. There's a lot going on, so people are spending extra money. They line up drops with their sale, et cetera, et cetera. Dude. Do like a 4-day weekend drop event where it's not 2 weeks. Just do drops for 4 days. Pick some streamers out or whatever you want to do. 4 days. Everybody that streams Tarkov gets drops for a 3-day or 4-day weekend. Maybe have a little in-game event. Bring some people back. Make it fun. I think you need to do that. I think that's the problem right now. Is Tarkov used to be really challenging, but it used to be really fun. And I think that
now it's just challenging. No.
Now it's just challenging, and then people are like, if you don't like it, then don't play it. Look, we all play games. There's strategy games and stuff, and maybe strategy games aren't always fun, but when you're done with them, there's a sense of accomplishment. And I think Tarkov used to give you a sense of accomplishment as well as be fun, and now the fun's gone. But to a certain extent, so's the sense of accomplishment. Vel, let me ask you: you've gotten Kappa 58,000 times. When you get Kappa now, do you feel accomplished?
Fuck Kappa. No, I mean, my whole thought process is go get Kappa as fast as I can, and that's when I can really play the game and just kind of do whatever, right? It doesn't feel like it's anything. I've gotten it so many times, but my favorite thing was when I would be in my chat and this person would be like, I grinded and made a bunch of money this wipe. Next goal. And I remember this when they added capturing outposts and then made it like level 70 or what was the level to get Kappa? Like super high, right?
65
and they were like,
70,
they were like, I'm gonna get Kappa this wipe. And then they log on and then everybody's like, oh, okay, well now I can't get Kappa because they added all this bullshit. I don't understand why they're adding stuff like that because it makes it like what does Kappa really do for any of us? gives me 3 extra slots. What are those 3 extra slots going to do for me?
Yeah.
Or anybody in this game? Why is it so hard to get something that it literally does nothing? Like, you know how many people like love to get Kappa? Now, like, how many people do you think in a wipe get Kappa?
It was what 1% according to their stats, or less than 1%, and now it's probably even less than that.
Yeah, probably.
I don't think I'm gonna get it this wipe.
I mean, it's tough. Like with the people that work, 10-hour jobs or 8-hour jobs, and they come home and they want to do stuff, dude. When you get to the point where you get capturing outposts, and it's 3 months into wipe, you will never get all 12 of those kills unless you sit down there for a month straight,
or
cheese it.
You cheese it.
Cheese it. Yep.
You fudge it.
Fudge it. Yeah. Fudge it.
Which I mean, I used to cheese task all the time when I wasn't a streamer. I'm like, fuck this. I'm not gonna. Why would I sit here and try to kill however many PMCs on whatever maps? Like, I just want to get Kappa. I'm gonna cheese some tasks. Which there was just like the easy like Shooterborn in Heaven task, and that was about it.
It's like that lighthouse quest now, where you got to kill people over there.
I'm on that right now. 20 people.
Get out of here doing that legitimate.
And it's like
I cheesed it.
The Lightkeeper grind's not even good. I literally just want to walk up the Lightkeeper, get my transmitter, get the loot, and I don't care to do the rest of his quest lines. Yeah. All they did was provide stuff that was available as crafts last wipe, locked behind him, and that's your only reward. So, like, that's not worth it. Grinding for Kappa's not really worth it. Like, what's the end game? And it's like most of us here play an absurd amount of the game. I know Valiant plays a shitload of the game. I play 5 to 8 hours a day. Like, we play a shitload of this game. It's like we in some cases don't even feel like grinding out for this shit, and we have all this time to do it. So
the Lightkeeper I feel like was the biggest cock tease in Tarkov history. There's gonna be an in-game trader. It's gonna be fucking awesome. Blah blah blah. We're gonna like that whole shebang. Lighthouse. And then Lighthouse expansion was like, hey, we unlocked some doors for you and added an island, and the island's going to be a death trap.
Well, with Trey and them?
Yeah. What's that?
Because they how do you feel about that with Trey and them? Because like they showed off Lightkeeper so early because they dual grinded that account up, and then it's like BSG comes out and it's like, oh, that's not even supposed to be in there.
Yeah, you fail bullshit and you get the transmitter.
Yeah.
And then they patched that out and we're like, oops, that wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah. So I think I don't think Lightkeeper was right. I really do. It feels like with the sound as well, it feels like they were rushed. They were really crunching to get this patch out, and it just wasn't ready to go. But they had to put it up because of the season. So, it is what it is. But
because they had to get their stuff on sale and had drops coming up. I just feel like Lightkeeper is underwhelming. Like, just overall, the whole situation, the task super grindy. They like made it to the community like it was going to be a great thing, made it feel like it was going to be achievable for everybody. And who is it achievable for, too? Again, that
only
top 1%.
Literally less than the top 1%. There's no shot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they should scale back the requirements necessary to get Kappa.
Yeah.
Like, maybe not the items.
See it for now, at least.
Yeah, make it like 10%. Until they see 10 to 15% of the player base getting Kappa, they should not stop easing the restrictions to get Kappa.
They will never see that, though. They'll never see that, though, because they're making it so hard to get Kappa that, like I said, the Capturing Outpost. Capturing Outpost is the hardest. And then they keep adding Shooterborn maps. So every map that comes out, we're going to put Shooterborn on streets, like, and then we're going to do this and that.
And then they made Shooterborn harder.
And then adding more tasks. Like, it's just like... I feel bad for the people that wanted to get Kappa. Now they're never going to get Kappa, and they're never going to get to see the 3 butt slots, which is not anything crazy, but it's still it's like an accomplishment for people.
Right.
It used to be nice when you could put mags in there.
Yeah.
What about Yeah, and then good point too with like the tracksuit. How many people do you know that have tracksuit?
No one. No one.
Nobody goes for it.
Bobby.
I'm Bobby.
Bobby is the only person. When I did it with
Bobby and cheaters.
Yep, Bobby and cheaters, pretty much. Yep. And then I think it took me like 700 raids one wipe, and then it took Glorious around 2,000 No, it was like 1,000 to 2,000. Like it's getting up there, more and more raids to do it, and it's just like, you know, they're also making it worse. So Killa used to respond to grenades or flashbangs or whatever every time he threw them, right? They took that away, so it's like a 50-50 chance. So when you throw a flashbang, he's either going to yell or he's not going to yell. And that's bullshit. Like, you have a boss that's spawning at 90 different spawns, and then you make it so he doesn't yell when there's a grenade. Like, why would he not yell when there's a grenade near him?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that. It's like, why are you making that so hard? It's not that big of a deal. Like, what does tracksuit do for you? You get a million rubles, like, and then you're just farming a boss that, one, you can't sell his armor anymore. You can't sell the key cards that are on him unless they're colored key cards. You can't sell his helmet. You can't sell his armor. You can't sell the ammo that are in his mags. Like, why is he so hard? What is the point of making him so hard to find if you can't sell any of the stuff that's on him anyways? Like,
yeah. So what's the solution then? Make it 50 kills? Increase spawns?
Not even. Somebody said this to me yesterday. Reduce the spawn chances, or have the whatever many spawn chances, but only put him in Goshan, Idea, and freaking Goshan or whatever. You know what I mean? And the three areas. So then when you go in, you have the 3 areas to check. You check those 3 areas. If he's not there, bam, you're done. Whatever. Right?
He should be in the mall, not in the basement of the mall.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Right.
Agreed. I used to do it. I've gotten tracksuit 4 times, and I used to farm him because selling the mags, the ammo, the gun, the rig, like all of it used to be like 2 million rubles. So I would start with like 1.5 million, and then I would fight him, and I would end up being like 50 to 60 million. That's if I found like a green key card or whatever, and I would sell it, right? The PvP on interchange was 1,000 times better when Killa was in the middle of the map, because you would either go in, you would kill all the Killa farmers, right? And they would be geared. They would have like MDRs with M61 or whatever. And then you would like also fight other people in the map that would come to the middle to try to see if Killa was there, but they were like taking their time. Like the PvP back then was just 1,000 times better for the map. And now the map just sucks.
Were you in the evasion trios, Vel? The evasion trios where they had Killa spawning anywhere from like tents in front of Goshen to the back of Goshen? Like the PvP in that event was so much fun.
I don't remember.
Like, I would love to see him.
Because there was an objective that people were going to.
Yeah.
That, but also, I mean, like, you know, having him, like, he doesn't have to be just in front of Kiba or whatever. You know, but maybe just expand the area that he could spawn in. But it definitely pushed PvP towards that area. Yeah. So I would love to see that back.
Or have him roam more. Start at the middle of the mall and he can roam around more.
Just somewhere in the mall.
Give him some guards that signify he's there. How about that one?
Right.
Yeah, that could work.
That'd be cool. I don't know.
You know, guards at voice line or something, you know?
Him and Tagilla should have a chance to spawn together. I don't know why they don't. They're brothers.
Yeah. That'd be cool. Be hard to fight them both, though, to be honest, if you think about it.
Yeah, but it'd be PvP Central.
Yeah, they did that in that evasion trios. It was Tagilla and Killa at the same time. It was awesome.
That was so cool.
So much fun.
Yeah, it was. Oh my god, I remember that.
Yeah.
And I farmed like 30 Killa kills off that. Like I was trying to get tracksuit. I like farmed like 30 of them. Like I love tracksuit. I think it's cool as shit. It looks cool as shit. It's like a status symbol, but it's just so out of this world right now to even try to get it. Like it's just crazy.
Yeah. And all the other problems with interchange, lighting, sound. I mean, we can go into.
He spawns on streets too, doesn't he? Killa and Glue have 5% chance.
Killa. Yeah, I've not seen him on streets yet. I have seen Glue several times.
Oh, I've seen Glue hard
on streets.
Oh yeah, that Lexus dealership, man. I think he's a placeholder for the new boss, though.
So put in a new boss there.
Yeah.
Okay. Have they said anything about Arena?
No, they've showed off the gameplay, but that's it.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, interchange lighting in the game needs an overhaul, and I know interchange is everybody complains about interchange, but it's every map. The haze that's on every map needs to be fixed.
Yeah.
They just need to make it so when you hit the power, the whole place lights up. There you go. If somebody hits power, all the lights come on, it's light inside. That's it. If nobody hits the power, it's dark, it's gloomy, there's no lights on, whatever. I mean, that means if power comes on, all of the lamps, all of the fucking the lights that are on the ground, like the workers' lights and stuff like that, pop on, so the whole place is lit.
Right.
That's all it needs to be.
Well,
or
you
we could
say
install
that.
a LUT.
Right.
Yeah.
But right. But I mean, you can say that you want all the lights lit up, but then like look at Resort. Those lights are the way that they change the way that lighting works. It's just the way lighting works in the game in general, because some of the lighting is just overbearing. Flashlights, for example. Oh, there's like no counterplay. If I'm hiding behind one of the little floodlights in like, west wing of a resort, and you're trying to shoot me, and that light is shining through, you're not going to see me, and you can't shoot those lights out. Like, it's so much harder for you to see me. Way more than it should be. Like, those lights are blinding on that map. So it's like, it's one of the extreme or the other. Either you can't see at all, or you're blinded. There's no in between.
Valiant, do you remember when flashlights were trash and there was no lens flare?
Yep.
And they were dog shite? They were terrible, man.
Yep. Now, like, you wear nods at nighttime and you run into a naked pistoling with a flashlight. Like, I did it yesterday. Ran into a guy at nighttime, had quad nods, meta MDR, was, like, running, like, good shit. I dropped down into the reserve tech room, and the guy has a flashlight, and I'm just looking straight at just a glare, and he taps me in the face because he can see me and I can't see him.
Yeah, I don't think it's individual items in the game, like it's just the mall or it's just flashlights. I think it is how lighting is produced in the game as an entirety. Yeah.
I don't know if it would be optimized if they turn on all the lights and interchange. We would lose like 20, 30 FPS. I'm just saying.
Yeah, lighting just bright as hell.
There was a guy, he fit like, I think it's like over 100 clash flashlights into a raid. Brought it in, turned them all on, and lagged everybody out.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's how nods work, but flashlights and lighting in general in the game is overpowering and blinding. And the thing is depending on where you are in the game, like, if I'm far enough away from somebody, their flashlight shouldn't affect me the way that it affects you right now. It shouldn't blind the whole entire hallway when I'm 70 meters away to the point where I don't even know where to shoot. Because I'm not 100% sure where the guy's really holding the gun sometimes. Because sometimes it's just, the light is just so flooded out. So that's some stuff that needs to be reworked. But again, we go back to my theory on these things aren't easily fixable because they can't fix them super well. Yeah, you're in the daytime. I mean, it can definitely blind you if it's right in your eyeball, sockets, for sure.
That's just a flash. Like, what is that? Just a tiny flashlight.
It's just a tiny OLight flashlight that goes on the underneath of my Glock 19.
Hold on, I'll be back. All
right, everybody's gonna pull out their flashlights now.
Yeah, everybody's gonna bring out their arsenals. What's that?
I liked their IR changes.
Oh yeah, it was a lot better.
I thought that was really good.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops! I just lost my Glock 19 in a boating accident.
Oh.
The old boating accident.
I
think he could actually get away with that, though.
Yeah.
He's the captain.
I actually could. Yeah, I'm like one of the only ones that could do plausible deniability with that. Well, you guys, where's your fishing boat?
Yeah.
But yeah. All right, Valiant. That's mine. Yeah, all right.
Yeah, so see, like, obviously I'm gonna point it not at the chat, but like, Like, I'm still pointing at you and like near in the vicinity, and it's not blinding the absolute shit out of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, obviously, if it's pitch black dark, maybe, but like, it doesn't.
Flashlight.
That's my point.
So far tonight.
That's my point.
You know, we're not blind. You know.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe if in the middle of the night, like, and it's super dark, but like, I don't know.
No, it is crazy. There is something we said about flashlight meta even in the day when you're like 7 feet away from somebody, and it's like it's a little overpowered at night. Totally. I mean, your pupils are constricted, right? They're dilated, right? So when light enters, it's very intense. But flashlight's a little too OP. They could turn them down a little bit.
Right, but I don't think it's the flashlights. I think it's how they're changing lighting. Because that's when everything changed. When they changed flashlights, that's when the lighting got worse in interchange. That's when the haze started showing up on every map, and even in the middle of the day. You know, not for nothing, one of my favorite things used to be, when I was a reserve main, is a bunch of the times I would sit there with a DVL, I would jump up on the top of dome, or down below dome, and I would shoot people, on top of hermetic all the time. I've got so many clips of being able to do that. But now half the time I can barely get a clear picture all the way across the map to there. And then on top of that, I mean, there's desync. I can't shoot somebody from 450 meters away easy unless they're standing like a statue. I used to shoot people mid-run, you know, because when they were running on my screen, you know, I don't know, 3 years ago, and I shot 3 feet in front of them, they were going to run 3 feet before my bullet got there. Now, I shoot 3 feet in front of them, but they're actually 10 feet in front of where I think they are, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's desync for you.
But I mean, that's what sucks about, like, Shooterborn now. 125 meters away, and I won't do it with a bolty, really, anymore. I mean, if I have a bolty, I'll do it, like, I'll take shots, but I'd rather go in with a DMR, because I gotta shoot volume amounts of bullets because of desync. Back when I started playing the game, like, I knew my holds. I would be like, all right, well, this guy's about 200 meters away. I'm going to put it about 6 inches in front of his face, right level with the top of his head. Headshot every time. You know, like, now I do that and I'm like, where are my bullets going? Or where is that guy actually? I have no idea. So now it's just DMR and just spray a bunch of bullets at him until hope you hit him in the head. And you're like, Shooterborn, kill, right? I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I mean, if they're standing there still, that's different. But if they're on the run, I feel like it's a crapshoot. I might as well be shooting a Makarov pistol at them from 150 meters away.
Oh, it also depends on the rifle, right, and the MOA rating. But yeah, it really does feel like I don't want to use bolt actions because I feel like I'm just missing, or it's desync, or the movement is just not adding up correctly. It reminds me of the Veritas video that he did with movement a while ago, where it was just like complete lack of sync between the client and server.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, for sure. Yep. And he did the true perspective thing. Yeah.
Right.
And they also did that, was it Linus did one as far as frames are concerned, right? How much frames can affect your shot. They did it with, like, he did that video with, like, Shroud and a bunch of other people. I think it was Linus. I can't remember. Maybe it wasn't Linus. He did that video with Shroud talking about 60 hertz versus 140 versus 260 and the difference between shooting somebody and landing an accurate shot. And how much, like, 240 hertz, you could see them that much earlier on your screen than if you were running a 60 hertz. Now, 60 to 144, was there a huge gap? But, like, if you're running 200 frames or 240 frames, you're going to see people a lot sooner. Yeah, it was Shroud, Grims, and some other people. Yeah, it was Linus Tech. So think about, I mean, and again, we have shitty frames, way shittier than we should for the computers that we have in the game. So that's a factor. And then just, that's also going to transfer to latency in the time it takes you to get your information back and forth.
Right. So you take that and then you stack it with invisibility bug, and then you stack it with desync, and then you stack it with cheaters, and you have a legitimate cocktail of reasons why people are like, I'm just going to sit this one out for a while.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and I don't blame them, man. I get it. I actually don't recommend playing the game, at least until I get the invisibility bug fixed. There's just too many stacked problems.
Just watch us play and get our dick pushed in all the time.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, just watch us.
Yep.
We're
Just
still
watch
gonna play, but you
Dick
guys
Punching Simulator.
I had a guy yesterday come in and he goes, dude, I want to buy this. I'm like, you know what, man? Maybe you should just wait for a little bit. You know, watch me to see if you really enjoy it, and then when a sale goes, then buy the game because you know it's fun, but it's not that fun.
It looks cooler than it actually is. Yeah.
Yep. I have a lot of people that come to my chat. They're like, "Bro, Vel, I watch you kill people all day long, and then I try to play the game and I just die all day long. This is bullshit." Like, what? Yeah, I'm like, yeah, pretty much. Like, sorry.
Oh my God. Mr. Armbars walks up with his walker. Let me tell you about the heyday when Tarkov used to be fun, and when you used to shoot at people, they actually died.
I can attest to the fact that
an old joke,
if Armbars shoots you, you're gonna die.
I just figured I had to pick on Mr. Armbars. It's been too quiet.
I'm vibing, dude. Somebody told Velian to sit up, and I was like, dude, what do you mean? We're vibing here.
We're vibing here.
I'm chilling. Matter of fact, I'm
gonna lean further back now.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, hopefully this stuff gets fixed. I mean, overall, my big takes with you guys has been they need to improve communication, or we'd like to see improved communication. Even if it's, hey, we know something's broken, we're gonna try to fix it. You know, it doesn't even have, you know, RMT. None of us seem to care about and like we're all like work on the cheater thing, but there's so many things that are broken in the game right now. We really don't know how many of it is actually cheating and not.
Yeah, you can't.
But I'm gonna say, if you go on Google and you can search Tarkov, and there's 1,800 websites, I'm exaggerating, of people offering RMT or cheating.
It's not
devices.
Working. Yeah.
Then they're making money to have 5 different websites probably owned by the same guy. The reason that they're having that is because people are buying it.
Yep.
So if you can see every item, and if you can loot through doors, like even if you ban my one account and I buy another account on a stolen account for a discount on some shady website for, I don't know, I've been told as low as $7 to $10 per stolen account. You buy a stolen account, then you go in with your ESP and your loot through walls. You grab another 5 key or all the key card sets, sell that for $130. Like, it's still happening.
Yeah.
So, and just one more thing I want to put in perspective. Right now, if you want to cheat and escape from Tarkov for a month pass, it's $150. That's just it. $150 point blank period. Now, I think you have the world's smallest plank if you spend the $150 and cheat in the game. You have the world's smallest fucking plank. But I'm just saying, like, that's where we're at right now.
Right. And I think that that's got to be their angle of trying to stop RMT. Because they're like, well, these people keep buying more accounts, they must be RMTing. So it's the cheaters that are the sole person that's RMTing. Therefore, we stop RMT, we stop cheating. Which it just doesn't work that way, right? Because they're like, well, we're going to ban the account. If we cut off their ability to RMT, then they won't have money to buy another shady account and keep paying for cheats month after month. But that's just not the way it's going to work. It's never the way it's going to work.
At what cost, though? At what cost, and when does it end? And
right,
are they ever going to actually be able to completely stop it? I don't think so, man. It's just
no.
All the games, every game except the only game that I know that doesn't have cheats is like
Rocket League.
WoW and Rocket League, maybe, but I don't play Rocket League, so I wouldn't know. But WoW has no. It might have bots, but not like, you know, cheaters that are flying around doing crazy shit. You know, there's so many cheats in every single game. Right? It's like, I don't know if you guys ever watched the Pestily video. Right. It's so good. You should take a watch. The cheating is such a huge thing now.
Right. It's a business. It's a business for people. RMT and cheating is a business for people. Valorant is pretty good, but even then I've heard that there's cheaters in that, but their anti-cheat I think is the best out of any game. That's a popular game anyway.
People have a privacy concern with Valorant's anti-cheat, though, right? Like the kernel level access or whatever. And then people tell me BattlEye has kernel level access, but I know that there are some people that are upset. Like, if they were to implement this right now, right, at that same level of anti-cheat as Valorant, there would be a huge, like, doing this, I can't, like, there'd be a lot of pitchforks and torches still, even though it may be a good thing for the game.
Yeah. I think and the RMT thing, if you really think about it, hey, we're going to make everything harder to get in the game for everybody.
Yeah.
So when it's harder and you don't have a lot of time, but you do work a good job and have a lot of money, aren't you more apt to just buy it if you want to get ahead and keep up with everybody?
Yeah, if you're making $100, $200 an hour, yeah.
Yeah,
$50, $100 an hour.
Money,
yeah, whatever.
If I want a set of labs cards for the wipe for the next 6 months, and I want to spend, it's cost me $40 to do it. Yeah, I'm gonna spend the $40 on it. You want to know why? Right. Because I'm never gonna get those cards in game playing myself. Because I've found 3 colored key cards in my 6,000 hours of this game.
I don't have a single one, and yeah, I want to back up here real quick and just revisit a topic, and that is the topic of the way that they're basically, it's like if you queue in with somebody who is an RMTer, right? That you get banned for 60 days. I like the system because I've actually said this kind of system needs to be implemented, but I'd like it to be implemented in a better way. So what I mean is, first ban's 24 hours, second ban's 72 hours, third ban's a week, fourth ban's 2 weeks, and then perma with an option to appeal. And then you actually have a functioning system where everybody's like, I don't want to queue with this guy. He's an RMT. He might be an RMTer, right? You know what I mean? So, I want to see checks and balances on this system, but right now I just think it's kind of messed up, man.
Bans are
60-day ban is brutal.
Bans are fine. Yeah, bans are fine if one, rules are set. The line is drawn. We know what the rules are.
Right.
2, there's good communication as to what you were doing or what they're accusing you of doing. And then, 3, that the punishment fits the crime.
Right.
You queued with an RMTer that you didn't know was an RMTer. 60-day ban.
That's like I poke you and you punch me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's more like a poke you and you shoot me in the leg.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly.
You
60 days.
Me, yeah. Right.
60 days, hey, you're going to take a third of your wipe off. And your account's going to get reset.
Disgusting.
Yeah, that's a little overboard in my opinion.
Right. And that's why people are upset. And you have, 3 or 4 large name content creators that are, they're watching their favorite content creator. This happened to them. And it's not going to leave a good taste in their mouth. They're going to be like, screw Battle State. That's how they're going to see it.
Yep.
Right. And that's not good for Battle State and not what we want as content creators for Battle State. So
agreed.
Yeah, no, I mean that's
I don't know, man. What can you do?
Again, as far as the content creator thing, we have no idea, and that's the biggest thing. There's so much, a million people speculating. But it's like, why? But we also know there's been false bans as well. So that also speaks to their anti-cheat. I mean, when you think about how many people were probably falsely banned that didn't have clout and didn't get their account back.
Oh yeah,
think
like
about
that
people
guy
that
on
aren't
Reddit,
named Landmark that their account got banned falsely, and they never got back.
It's like the comments I get on my TikToks where they're like, "How do I get my account unbanned?" I'm like, "Bro, I gotta be honest with you. Your best bet is to make a Reddit post and hope it goes viral. Like that's all you got."
That's crazy. That's wild. All right,
it is wild.
We've been at it for a bit. I want to try to wrap this up. Is there anything that we covered tonight that anybody has any questions on? We'll take a couple questions from chat before we wrap everything up. If anybody has any questions, now's the time. While we're getting some questions from chat, Captain K, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you? You're gonna have to post your links because for some reason my shout out feature is not working.
Let me so long story short, you can find me on TikTok, Captain K on TikTok. Ow, excuse me, my cat's beating me up. You can go on there now. He's beating the shit out of me, man. We were cuddling. We had a cool thing going, and he was just like, "Fuck you, you're moving too much." So you can find me on TikTok, Captain K. I'm very active there. Actually, my largest account has like 37,000 followers or something. I post there every day, a lot of original content. My YouTube, Captain K. On Instagram, I'm Captain K. Twitter, Captain K. And obviously here on Twitch, Captain K. I'll post all my links in the chat.
Okay. Thank you. Vel, how about you?
What's up, everybody? My name is Velian. I stream from 7:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on twitch.tv/Velian. And then TikTok is Velian83, I think. And then YouTube is Velian Gaming. You can check those all out, and I'd appreciate it.
Feel free to post them in the chat if you want. Bobber, when do you stream? Where can they find you?
Yeah, you guys can find me on Twitch 7 days a week, weekdays, usually starting about 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then on the weekends, it kind of varies, just goes however long and however much I feel like. I will post all of my socials in the chat. But follow me on TikTok, YouTube, Twitter. Biggest Twitter troll NA.
Vouch.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Armbars, where can we where can they find you, or when can they find you?
Well, this summer I will be on tour with Rihanna, so you guys make sure to catch me on that tour. And I'll bring Sam Smith back just for a second for chat there. But yeah, I like to make a lot of content, Tarkov content. You can find me on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all over as Mr. Armbars. I stream often. Swing by. That's it. Thank you, everybody, for tonight, dude. I actually felt like this was a pretty good discussion, pretty lively, and everybody had a lot to say. So this was a really good one.
Yeah, no, it's been good. A couple questions. I think we did go over this a little earlier, but we can touch on it again. Ammo changes along with flea market changes. Overall, how do you guys feel about them?
Good. It's good.
Less flea market taxes is good for the average person, for sure. For sure.
I mean, you don't really ever see people running around with slicks all day long either.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, when's the last time you died to a guy with a slick, or had you kill a guy with a slick?
I would like to see them implement a reloading bench into the hideout within that new space, and then have workbench for workbench stuff, and then have a reloading bench for the higher tier ammo, and then have a 3-tiered reloading bench. That's my wish. That's my wish for something. Where you could kind of craft all your ammo right in your hideout. And somebody asked if we thought that lowering the ping back to 100 like they had it before would solve some of the problems of desync. Personally, I don't think it's going to make a difference.
Worse. But I want to play with my European friends, so
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, if they can make it like 125, 140, I mean, desync's already pretty bad. At least let me play with my friends. If I wanted a 1v1 Pestily right now, I don't know if I could.
Yeah, it was pretty cool to be able to play with your like NZ friends and OCE friends when the ping restrictions were lower. But at the same time, it's like desync was crazy.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean ping affects it, but yeah, I mean I do think that it's a net code issue. Again, we talked about how the game is programmed, and I'm sure if it's programmed poorly and there's a pile of files that don't know where they're supposed to be, I would translate that to probably the way that netcode receives it is along the same thing. There's probably super bad, and I know they're always talking about optimizing the netcode, but like, how broken is it? Like that's the question is like, are you optimizing it like 0.05% when it really needs to be completely overhauled? I have no idea. And that's a thing. They're so deep into the game, they just want it to be done. And then they'll probably move on to their next game and then pay a team to go in and re-optimize the game after. If anybody remembers PUBG for a while, when it came out, they released a bunch of maps. PUBG performance went down. There was a lot of cheaters. A lot of people stopped playing. And now, I don't know if anybody's played PUBG lately, but they've made a ton of improvements to the game. The maps look 1,000,000 times better. The cheater situation is a ton better on that game. You know, but they kind of like finished. Right, and they finished what they were gonna do. They like finished what they set out to do, and then went back and redid everything. They like got rid of one of their maps because it was really bad, and then redid the map and took it away. You know, but didn't stop them from rolling it out initially. You know what I mean? You know, that might be the case here. That might be the case here. You can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig.
Yeah, 2 or 3 maps left in the game to make, right? Like, how many features really is left until Tarkov's finished? Like, I would, what, another 2 years of development time?
Right.
And then Streets expansions.
Right. Well, that's the thing, is each Streets expansion could be an entire year. Is there that's at least 3 more Streets expansions?
Their pace is slow, man. It's very slow. It's unfortunately, it's always really high quality stuff. Like the Streets assets look amazing. Like the map itself is very well done. It's just it takes a lot of time, man.
Well, that's great. I mean, I love looking at a picture in an art museum and not actually being able to play a game where I can move around.
Yeah, it's fun.
So, all right. I think that's it. We got everybody. Everybody got to say their piece. I didn't see any more questions. Guys, thanks everybody for hanging out tonight. Hey everybody, thanks for watching the Tarkov Talk podcast. If you liked the podcast, make sure to give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and subscribe to the channel for more podcasts and awesome content. Thank you.